Hello everyone and welcome to the Gamestars League Season 1 for Brawl Stars. We've been through it all for the last 5 or 6 weeks. National qualifiers, wildcard, 32 teams, 3 sets of group stages, and finally we've gone through the playoffs. Quarterfinals were yesterday and now we've only got 4 teams left remaining. We've got 2 semi-finals and grand final, and we'll be eventually crowning a champion later on this evening. I am Lethal. Joining me is Teddy, as always. Teddy, are you ready? I can see you ready, mate. I can tell from
Man, I'm absolutely ready. It's been weeks in the making, but we are getting towards an end. The last day of Gamestars Season 1, as we will be having our semifinals and grand finals of the playoffs. The chance for, one of the 4 teams to make it all the way and take the victory. We've had some pretty insane matches, some upsets, some underdog stories, some teams dominating through the bracket so far. This has been quite a show in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to come to an end tonight. Reply Totem versus AC Milan Clash is going to be our first semi-final. Totem that beat Navi in a bit of an upset yesterday, and also AC Milan Clash was a win against Zero Zone Spain, which was a bit more like predictable, just like SK Gaming taking down Kozaki, and EXO Free Agents taking down Big Clan, which leads us to our second semi-final, which will be played later on, and is going to be SK Gaming versus EXO Free Agents. So we've had some really good matches already, but on papers, those could be some of the juiciest ones yet. And obviously, they're happening in the semi and grand finals.
Yeah, I think the opening match yesterday was the only match we did not expect, because it's completely opposite end of the spectrum compared to the last results they had between Reply Totem and Navi. And look at this, Reply Totem are still here, still fighting, even though they've gone through a lot of obstacles leading up to this moment. And, this is going to be, a hurdle taller than themselves, as they will be playing against Clash later on. And then that will be the first match. Second match will be SK Gaming versus EXO. And of course, the winner of both these matches will play against each other in the grand final. All games are going to be a best of 5. Each set will be a best of 3. So pretty standard from what you're normally used to. And just going through, actually, in terms of popular brawlers, it's still the same brawlers, but Jean and Sandy had a little bit of a switcheroo. We've had a lot less picks for Sandy, and Barley have had a lot less picks as well. And that makes sense, yeah, because I think Sandy was on about a 7-8% pick rate, so was Barley, but it's dropped a lot since last week's patch.
Yeah, I think that if you only looked at like the last week, Carl would definitely be like in that top 3.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, this is because, the league has been going for like 5 or 6 weeks already. And obviously, we've had some balance changes since, maybe even twice, which does mean that Sandy and Barley have fallen off. Still decent brawlers, both of them as well. It's not like they got nerfed to the ground. But, in competitive where you need every single advantage on your side, you can't really afford to play just a decent brawler. You need to play, some really, really solid comps. And both Sandy and Barley, a bit less like go-tos like they used to be. They're still good, but they're a bit more map specific than before. You're not just going to be playing the same comp 20 times. Or this time around, you're going to be playing it with a Carl instead of a Sandy. As you can see on Soy de Breza and Guille have been playing a lot of Carl lately. A lot of Frank as well on Guille, as well as Chaos. A lot of BB, which is also quite interesting. The Boko double tank does tend to come quite often for AC Milan Clash. On the side of Reply Totem, it used to be Max, Sandy, Jean. Now it's a lot more Max, Sandy, Carl, and I just really love how both Mari and Maru are both comfortable on the Max, picking it 14 times each. So there's always a Max on Totem. The question is on who, and that just depends on which brawlers and comps they want to bring in. Then they can kind of adapt because they're both really solid Maxes.
Yeah, it's a good example with those Maxes. The fact that they like to be the ones to create some pressure and be the ones on the initial push on the front line. And it's nice to have someone else play it. Maybe Mari might play Max Ben on some maps and then you get Mari on the others. So can we can swing some roundabouts here? So we're going to look at some of the KDs here and there. Plus 17 for Maru and plus 36 for Gil. But you never know, he might have actually had a lot more depending on how many more matches he could have played. We won't worry about the damage, the star player and the trophies so much, but he's hit over 45k, so yeah, he's enough. We know he loves his ladder rather than screaming and all the competitor scene. We know that it's fine. But yeah, Totem so far, it's gonna be hard to see what we're going to see from them today. Like, don't get me wrong, like in the quarterfinals, brilliant. Like, they showed a continued level of consistency. Back in the international finals in the group stages, again, they looked very, very good. Stage 2 and stage 1 was a little bit iffy. We didn't really see too much from them, and we were worried about like how they're going to approach like the international finals, and they've approached this with flying colors. Like, literally, the only smallest point of their gameplay, if we take out like the composition, the maps, of course, and some of the other bits and pieces out of the equation, it's just they need to be a lot more reactionary to their advantages, and we've seen it a lot more. They're not just dilly-dallying about for 3 or 4 seconds. They're going in straight away, which is what you should be doing, and we're going to look at the balance now to see what we're going to see in terms of compositions going into this. And Totem has actually banned the Max, and Milan has actually banned the Stu.
That's really interesting. For Clash, not so much. We've seen that when there's a double ban format, they ban Stu and Jesse every single time. And when it's single ban, well, they just prioritize the Stu because it's the stronger brawler of the two, and it's the one that they just really don't want to face. Max, on the other hand, I can tell you that's not a usual ban for Reply Totem. They like Max a lot. We've seen it picked 28 times just amongst 2 of their players, right? This feels like a very targeted ban. And I mean, obviously, I would tell you it's map specific. Thing is, Max is just really good on any map. So you just want her out of the mix. And I feel like it's a good sign that Totem have something planned here against Clash. Our maps are going to be Canal Grande and Bounty, Winter Porty and Brobel, Double Swoosh for Gem Grab, Snake Assault in Heist, and Nuts and Bolts in Siege. So yeah, Max is gonna be decent pretty much everywhere here. I wouldn't say that she's the best on most of those maps. Like, there's definitely other stuff they can play, and it's not like the biggest handicap. But Clash, they're a very highly mechanical team. They rely a lot on single openings rather than really just playing as a team and making an opening together, which does mean that Max Super is extra clutch, not only because Max in general is really strong and it's a really good duelist and able to win a lot of fights 1v1, but also because with Max, if you know, for example, in Brawl Ball, manage to win a bit of a clutch on one of your lanes, and you just, you know, win by outplaying and having higher mechanical skill than your opponent on your lane, well, a Max Super can be enough to close the gap to find a goal or to get a really strong push for your team. So it's going to be slowing things down just a little bit, as Max is just so strong at defining the pace and just turning it up to really have control of the timings and change every single timing, as the distances are not going to be the same anymore, and you get some very different interactions. So overall, I would say that the Max ban is a very strong ban, very smart ban for this matchup, especially because, you know, Totem, they are not going to be the favorites coming in this one. It's going to be Clash, and if Totem have something creative planned, I feel like that's their best shot at taking down Clash.
Yeah, you're right. Like, even if at their peak performance in terms of the recent form, yeah, Clash is still gonna, you know, make them work for it. Even if they take a set, if they're lucky here, it's not gonna be as one-sided as what we saw yesterday between SK and Kazaki by any means. But we'll be able to tell, even with Clash, you know, if they actually be able to somehow defeat them, how well Totem is doing today. And but you got to remember that Clash play like Totem every single day. Like, they don't really have that low level of inconsistency or high level of inconsistency, we can say, because, you know, they're used to doing this all the time. They've like hit the barrier in that tier 1 where, you know, they don't make such silly little mistakes which can cost them, like, you know, an entire set, let alone, you know, a couple of games, or maybe a difference in scoreline in terms of deficit, depending on which kind of game mode they're playing on. And it's going to be a real challenge. And with this first game mode being Canal, like, you know, being on Bounty as well, it's going to, you know, we're not going to see a lot of elements of strategy. It's just a lot of fundamentals, mechanics, and their coordination to see, like, who's got a better of each other on the day, like who's feeling it on the day in terms of everything else. And then, you know, sets 2 and 3, that's when we'll get an initial flavor of exactly how things are going to progress for Totem and what they're going to do. Because if they feel like they can, you know, outplay them in terms of, like, not just like comps or anything like that, but in terms of those fundamentals and mechanics, then they'll probably be okay and they'll play quite standard in default. But if they feel like, you know, Clash are just too good in that department with individual skill, the game sense, and how, you know, how well they work together as a team, then they might start trying to, you know, counter pick. They might start to, you know, be a bit more creative with their pushes or anything like that. So this is why I was saying beforehand that in this first game, this could be a true indicator of what Totem need to do for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, you can't just rely on your mechanics against Clash, because they are possibly the best mechanical team in the world. So it's not really like you can just, you know, 1v1 them on each lane and hope things go well. You need to I don't want to say smart them, but just like have more team play and some deeper strategies than them, just because Clash, they do rely so much on those mechanics. That sometimes strategically it's a bit more straightforward. But here we go. We're gonna kick things off with the Carl on Sword of Breza, Lena on the Mortis, and look at that, he's taken so much damage. Mari snipes him down, and that's already Totem taking the 3-star lead early on. Sword of Breza low HP, but he picks up yet another kill, and now he should be able to heal up. Now Lena is low HP, can't quite get the follow-up kill onto Maru, so it's still going to be the lead for Totem, but Clash are coming back, and look at that, Lena was to kill. Maru is going to be in trouble, but he still picks up the kill. Maru goes down. That's going to be the 2-star lead in favor of Clash now.
Lanai very individually skilled in many areas of his gameplay. You see that Lanai is actually, speak of the devil, managed to trap Brazier. Maru's trying to back off. He was actually supporting Brazier at the time, but now Maru's just trapped in the corner, looking to hopefully stay alive if possible. Not going to happen. This Totem had such a good lead to begin with, but Clash has now come out and started to really heavily hit and make the rest of Totem feel uncomfortable. But saying that though, only 6 stars ahead. Mori looking to push on up further if he can, but the tick is just continuously raining down damage, just making sure Mori keeps his distance. Brazier in that middle lane. Mori still looking to try and push up it and clean up one of the players on that back line. Maru's now rejoined the fray. 3 of them here looking to make some kind of coordinated push, with Chaos just being a real nuisance here, just continue to keep him at bay. But as I say, that takes down Maru. I don't think he expected to actually be able to clean him up. But now the rest of Clash are still hiding on that left lane. Lanai might actually be able to clean up Maru here, but he's not going to take the risk. He's still got a couple shots left, but didn't want to try and risk it any further, as there's only 10 seconds left with Clash up by 10 stars, as Mori needs to at least deal something big, and he doesn't. Actually, it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, as he does get taken down. It's going to be too little too late. Time to run out, and there we have it, an 8-star lead for Clash. A very good start from them, even though Tome had a good start to begin with in that game.
Yeah, that was actually quite close. A pretty back and forth game to kick things off. Yeah, Totem, I feel like they did get outcomed quite a bit by Lenon the Mortis, like the tick. Once he's used his last hurrahs, it's not gonna be the most fun for him. The Bell, it's kind of likewise, you know, she does get like 3 tapped by the Mortis. So it wasn't an easy matchup for Totem. I think that honestly, seeing the comps, I was even surprised that they started off with the lead, and for a second I was like, that would be crazy if they win with, you know, this matchup. Because even Carl is good against throwers, because he can easily like push into their face, whether it's with the gadget or the super. He can be quite an annoyance and like peek over the walls. So Carl is not bad against throwers, but Tick is definitely the more annoying one for him. And overall against the Mortis as well, it's not going to be the easiest matchup either. So Totem, I think that with some slight comp adjustments, I would probably remove the Bell first, but they're actually going to go for Poco, Mortis, Rosa, whereas AQM go Carl, Jean, and Mortis. So we'll see how that goes, as so far it is Totem to pick up the first kill, so he's still alive. Ever so barely though, as Maru does go down, and that's going to be the 2-star lead. Make it 4 now with the kill onto Maori in favor of Clash. And look at Lena, able to find one more. The trade is there, but it's still a 3-star advantage for AQM.
I'm glad Maru switched to the Mortis, but Lanai just... I've never known someone with such confidence. He's treating it as though it's a casual scrim, and he has, you know, no worries about, you know, his complications if he does get taken down and then the rest of his team gets outnumbered. He really is just taking every kind of advantage by the horns here, and Gil looking to see if he could push on up on Mori and Maru, but both players stand their ground in that left lane, as Brazier almost got taken down, but Maru managed to trade him out before he could actually take down Brazier. And now we're seeing what Clash can do to continue on this lead. They're up by 5 stars, still got 50 seconds left. They realise there's a flank coming from the north, so they focused on both players down the south. That was absolutely huge, and probably a bit of a misplay from Totem, where Brazier just, you know, when you do a flank up on the north side, it's going to take way too long, and they reacted so quickly to that numbers advantage in that right lane. And now things are just getting even worse here. Teddy is now at 24-8, as now Brazier's going to get taken down shortly by Len9, and doesn't finish him off, but already does the damage required.
Yeah, so far this has been nothing but a stomp. And once again, I'm not entirely sure if it's a calm decision from Totem. I mean, they are 9 stars behind now. I don't think it's even possible for them to really come back, as they would need multiple team wipes, and Lena is just like not going down anytime soon, is he? That is going to be Clash with a 14-star difference to pick up this game, and therefore the set. So set 1 secured by AQM. A pretty convincing set, wasn't it? Pretty convincing set. Not too much of a chance for Totem, besides for the first like minute maybe of the first game. Afterwards it was pretty much just a Clash show.
Yeah, it was. They did ride the struggle bus a little bit. Not a one-way ticket as of yet, but it could be at some point. That was a little bit worrying. Like Brazier, halfway through that second game, I understand what he was trying to do. He was just trying to get a huge flank onto that north side. I understand that, but with teams at this level, as soon as they see any kind of like, you know, in terms of number advantage, they're just going to take it straight away. Obviously, one of the shot callers on Clash just went, okay, Brazier's going north, there's 2 on the right lane, same lane as us actually, let's just take them down and then we'll 3v1 them at the end. And that's exactly what they did. And, you know, nice try from Totem. It was, how should we say, it was a bit optimistic with some of the plays they would like to make, and also with the comp changes as well. And look at the kills though, 23 kills to the 10 of Totem, and even the damage as well. That's a huge margin there. So we'll have to see what they can do. Just 89,000 more damage. That's a big statement considering that bounty matchup. So we'll go to set number 2. Totem not looking too bad. Like, you know, they're playing the same as they did yesterday and a few days before that, but it's not making any difference to Clash's performance in any way, as we will be doing a bit of Brawl Ball on Winter Party to see if there's any kind of difference we can make. I believe you did mention before that this is actually one of Totem's strongest game modes, so we'll see if they can, you know, prove that they can actually be, you know, put up a good fight against Clash here. And yeah, you know, it'd be a shame if they struggle throughout the entire course of the series, but this is one way for them.
Just to interrupt you, sorry, but I think you mean the opposite, because Clash is like the best Brawl Ball team in the world, and Totem, it's like their second worst game mode probably. So it is looking a lot like a 2-0 on paper. Luckily for Totem, it is not a competitive map, so we don't know quite as much what to expect, and I can already say from the comp that it's all over the place. But it is looking good as they pick up the first 2 kills here. Clash. Maru, though, in a good position to try to surprise a little bit. The jump in as well. Might have... Oh, he didn't have time for the slow. That would have been really neat for Totem to slow things down. But yeah, looking at the game modes and maps, this is not an easy match for Totem, especially with Brawl Ball being right now, and Bounty is one of the worst game modes as well with Brawl Ball for Totem. So yeah, it's gonna be a rough start, and they will have to kind of just move from there. But if you look at things, it could be much worse right now. It could be much worse. Guy low HP. They can't quite close it out right now. The knockback. So the Breza actually, they will Totem with the first goal, something they really needed right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed indeed. Yeah, apologies about that. I must have literally got that mixed up with another team. So don't want to put words in your mouth when you didn't even say them in the first place. But that was nice of me, wasn't it, Teddy? Very nice of me. As we're seeing,
my.
Lanai got a nice goal there in that left lane. Ties things up. And now with a minute left remaining, Totem really need to try and pull the finger out if they can, because their backs are against the wall. And like I said, if this is going to be Clash's best game mode already, you know, it doesn't seem like Totem are demoralized in any way. They are still trying to fight back into this. They had a very good start, but what are they going to be able to do? Mori's actually taken down Gil there, so he can actually push up onto that right lane, even though he's pretty weak. And that's Brazier taking down the Knight as well, so it's only chaos on that left lane. Only problem is the respawn cycle has already started. They've already pushed it on out, but Brazier has taken down another. They took the opportunity to push in. That's 2 down now, as it's only 1 player left remaining on the goal line, as they're already jumping straight out. This could be their chance, but Gil's actually pushed straight into Maru to make sure that he can't push him up and be aggressive. And luckily, though, Maru does trade him out. Mori trying to pull all the way back, but doesn't get to in time. But hopefully, they can try and delay things enough so that Mori can jump back into the fray here.
Yeah, 3 seconds left. Maru has 56 HP, and that's not the ideal setup for overtime, but having a super is always an asset, especially for those charged shots or just the little utility you have to work with in overtime. But look at that, Clash pushing up with 2 supers. Lena is gonna miss the pool, but it's still looking pretty good. He goes down though, and the ball is gonna get cornered up. Guy could always jump in the corner and just try to pass it out of the sides of the map, but it is a good defense from Totem, and maybe a bit of a weaker push from Clash that leads us in the last 20 seconds or so for any team to find something, to make something out of this game. And it's looking more and more like a draw, but we still got a push coming in here for Clash.
Yeah, they're getting a lot more map possession, but what are they going to be able to do with it? Trades are just coming in back and forth as Mori does take 1 player, then actually takes down 2 in the end. But yeah, you're right there. This could be tied potentially, depending on if Chaos can be able to hold us back. It should be fine here. They should be able to defend us, no problem, just as long as they're aware, which they are. And there we have it. So the first game will be a tie between both teams. I do feel like that Clash had more of the map possession for the majority of the last part of that game, but Totem did put up a much better fight than what we expected here.
Yeah, you know, the thing with those draws is, like, on the one hand, I want to be there like, okay, that's a pretty decent result from Totem, but on the other hand, that's the kind of games where they need to capitalize, right? Because that's their chances where they're like a goal away or a defense away from winning that game and starting to really get a tangible advantage from a game to another. So yeah, it's a bit of a sour loss for them. They are going to be playing the same comps on both sides, just because it is a draw, and that's how it's going to be played. But yeah, it's not the easiest to open things up early on for Totem until they get those supers on Soy, notably, but also like the jump-ins from the Crow. All that kind of stuff is just utility that is so important. Lena, look at that, has the pull available, might actually go for it, not just yet. And instead, well, we actually have a bit of an open goal here as AQM got the team wipe.
Yeah, that was a brilliant team wipe to start things off. And I've noticed that these players on Clash have been switching lanes a lot more often compared to before. It shows how versatile they are with any brawlers. Chaos now looking to push all the way in. Does so much damage to Mori here. Surely there's going to be a goal if he just be to clean him up, which he does. 2 quick, successful, nice, clean open goals there, Teddy. And that was literally night and day compared to that first game. So Clash, you know, like you said before, proving why they're one of the best teams at Brawl Ball, and which is why now they're going to be able to almost clinch this 2-0 in sets. But now we have to wait and see how this second game goes. But, yeah, that's a nice little response there from Clash.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, Clash is Clash. They are just insane in Brawl Ball. And I was surprised enough to see Totem holding them off so well and actually taking the lead at some point in the previous game. But yeah, in the long run, the more you play, the more you draw it out, the more it's going to be going in the advantage of Clash, because they just have so much experience in Brawl Ball. They are feared on this mode, and they showed us why. They get those quick games, those quick wins. They have a lot of different brawlers they're just ready to play and put into use for this game mode. And, you know, for a team like that relies so much on individual plays, on mechanical plays, there's nothing better than Brawl Ball, because you get a kill here and there, or even you just spot a bit of a timing, you can score in a 1 versus 3. It happens to them all the time, and that's why they shine so much. You could see, you know, the Crow jump-ins with the self passes. That was a goal, and Lena just casually like peeking with like 28 HP he had left, and he had like the Crow poison, so he was gonna die, and he had like 200 and he was about to die. Just gets the shot in. He knows the timings, he knows that it's gonna work out, and they can go for those sort of plays. That's typical Clash. And I think that it's a bit difficult for Totem to be playing 2 of their worst game modes early on, especially Brawl Ball, that is like, you know, the hard counter, because Clash is, you know, arguably the best team in the world for this game mode. It is going to come down later on, but it is going to be still quite a tough match, especially if you give 2 sets of momentum to Clash. Yeah, you're going to be in trouble. As we get into our second, or technically third game of Brawl Ball, and Totem, they're doing better early on so far, but they still got a steep mountain to climb.
Could be an understatement depending on how well they play this game. It is going to be Clash looking to do a bit of ball any percent to try and clean this up if possible, but a little bit more of a struggle through the kickoff compared to what we've seen previously, but still getting the kills. Chaos looking to stay alive here. Mori and Maru have been a pretty good duo throughout the course of this series. Mori does take down Chaos after Chaos was just doing his best to recover. They have pushed up, but you can see Clash are just waiting to regroup, waiting for Chaos to respawn. Done a fair amount of damage to Mori. Does actually finish him off. Actually, Lanai actually cleans him up there. Brazier takes down Chaos straight afterwards. But Gil looking to try and hide on that right lane, just trying to support Lanai if he can as well. So it's pretty much 3v1. Brazier just trying to stand his ground and continue with that map presence to not make him push any further. But that's not going to happen as he went for the super, but you saw there Chaos was more than ready for that. He had way too many hit points to even deal with, and then he was able to take him down, so that was nicely done. Only 1 member left for Totem, as now Brazier just managed to rejoin the rest of the team to try and keep Clash pressured. But look at that though, nice little try there from Gil, but doesn't actually get away with it. He did it twice in a row in that last game, but this time around he wasn't able to get away with it, but nice try nonetheless. As Mario's trying to push all the way up, Gil's just waiting for him here, so going to pass the ball towards him to try and get the shot off. It was so weak, does get taken down. Still got a little bit of time left here, Teddy. Brazier is trying to stay alive, but eventually he will get taken down.
Yeah, man. Honestly, that misspool earlier from Maui near the top area of the map onto Lena, it is going to be a mistake that they are going to be regretting for a long time, because that was the opening that could have been the goal, and just a big advantage of having the goal area so much more opened up. 20 seconds away from overtime. Maui with a good pull, but down to a couple hundred HP. Nice gadget, but he still falls to Gie. 15 seconds away from overtime, and the ball is cornered for Totem. They are ready for a slower approach and kind of just, you know, hope things turn out well for them in overtime.
We hope so too. Now, overtime has started. We're going to see what's going to happen. Clash, like in the last overtime we had back in game number 1, do have the map possession again. Chaos does take down one, but Maru also gets one for himself. It is going to be a 2v2. It's Brazier looking to push on up, and Maru trying to at least try and join him as fast as possible. He has moved to the front line to see where Clash are holding up more towards that middle and left lane. The pushing is coming in as Gill's still on that middle lane on the front line again, just trying to push up for Clash. Brazier has taken a fair amount of damage, but then again, so has all of Totem, as they've got to be a little bit careful here. Seems like Clash are out damaging them, but can't really seem to find the push they so desperately required. But now it's actually Clash who have taken even more damage, still looking to push them back. It would be too much of a surprise if it's a tie, but Gill's just pushing the ball onto their side, just to lay a little bit of presence. And you can see once again, Brazier looking to push the ball onto his side again, but Lanai is just looking to push it into the corner, play it safe here. It will be another tie, and it's a shame. Brazier, even though he got a kill at the end, he wouldn't have been able to score it. There was too much DPS near the goal line, and we're going to see another game here, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say, right? Totem just stalling it a little more. Clash playing very serious. They're not underestimated Totem. It's not like they're trying to force a goal in overtime. They saw that the opportunities were very slim, and they knew that if they were to take a risk to score, it could backfire. It could be a game being dropped and potentially, you know, starting a bit of a comeback for Totem. So I respect that decision a lot. You don't need to rush things around. You're winning. Every time you draw, you're still winning, right? So I think that's the right mentality and the right approach. As we move on to our 4th game of Brawl Ball, and so far only one game that has, you know, awarded any proper goals, as we are moving into a bit of a push for Totem at Chaos. Might be able to make something happen here. Lena is gonna push forward as well. The super from Maru doesn't exactly do all that much, but it is going to be enough here from Totem to defend off this initial push, although they do lose a lot of bushes on their side of the map, and overall they have a bit of a disadvantage as Maru also falls. Nice jump in from Gie, finds tons of value. Sorry, the Breza just ever so barely survives, but oh my, that was close.
Yeah, Maru earlier, great defending from him, playing it very safe, very patient, just Ferrari peeking around the corner to make to get those shots off as Mori now takes down Chaos, and Lanai is in literally no man's land, in deep trouble. He gets taken down by Mori, and now it's a skill on that right lane, looking to just try and defend as best as he can, just keeping him at bay with the damage, but actually gets taken down by Brazier. He's looking to push up. There's only one member left standing. That's going to be a goal eventually for Totem, as Maru does manage to score that, and that's a good, or you could say a great way to start things off, as fundamentally Totem looked much better, but Clash, even though they had a lot of the map possession, couldn't really do too much with it, which is a little bit strange to say, but it would probably see him change things up momentarily, as now things are pretty much in a stalemate situation. Now Totem are being pushed back, as the Knights now going to be trying to push up. Brazier does take down Chaos, but it's going to be an open goal here for Lanai, and I don't think they were too sure whether he was actually going to get away with that or not, but now it's all tied up here, Teddy.
Yeah, that was a bit of a crow super wasted from Gie, so we'll see if that could be a bit of a shame and a bit nice jump from Maru. I mean, he does go down, but at least he gets a lot of damage down before that. Otherwise, it would just have been a pull. Lena, with quite a bit of HP, is able to take down Mari. Now it's the pass to Chaos, but Chaos takes so much damage. And things are gonna get interesting in overtime. Nice jump in from Maru. short shot, but Mari is there to intercept it. And look at the HP, it's so low for Totem. Mari has the super, so does Soy. Soy gonna go for the shot in the corner, and that is gonna be Totem to take their first game in this match, tying things up in Brawl. And you know, they're still a set behind. We have to remember how Bounty went, very one-sided. But now Totem, they actually have, you know, a tangible chance at taking this second set, tying things up and making things very interesting. And something that I think is very interesting about this match as well is that Clash have one really big weakness, and that's Siege. In Siege, they just never win. Like, they just don't. Like, against like good teams, they just don't win Siege. They have like one of the lowest win rates in Siege, and literally like maybe the top 16 teams in Europe. It's like really, really bad. And Totem, like they're not like good at it. It's also one of their weaker game modes, but you know they're still like at least all right on it. It's not like the end of the world if they have to play some Siege, and that's set 5. So a win here for Totem would be big, because they would just need one more to make sure that worst case scenario they play Siege, and that sounds like a really good worst case scenario for Totem.
That's really strange. I don't understand why they excel so highly in some of the other game modes, and when there's one, it's a massive difference. You'd assume that, like, between the teams where it should normally plays top 16, top 12, they should be fine with that, you know, no matter what the issue is. Even if, you know, it's not your best, you know, in terms of objective efficiency, you should be able to come out on top just from your slaying power. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is a little bit bizarre. And also going back to this game, it's nice to see Totem finally crawl back and get a game in their favor. It's taken quite a while here, Teddy, but eventually, you know, it has paid off for them. But Razor, good defending there on Lanai, trying to push in towards their goal line, holding that left lane. But it's been a very long set here. We've seen much longer. But Mari now trying to hold onto that middle ground. Not going to happen though. They do have the numbers advantage if they do want to push up. But just waiting to see what Razor and Mori are going to do first, as Chaos fits a fair amount of damage here. Mari just jumping in to see if he can take him down, but it has been wasted. But then again, the damage has been done. So they're looking to see if they can at least clean up or trade any of those kills. But sadly, he couldn't. Razor still managing to stay alive, and Clash couldn't really do too much with that advantage due to the structure on this map. So still waiting for that team wipe, or waiting for, you know, an opportune moment to be able to push that in, and could be waiting a little bit of time here, Teddy.
Yeah, a bit of a stalemate as both teams are just looking to get more supers. Jump in from Maru, the pull from Mari to follow up. Guille survives with 80 HP. Is going to go down now, but Mari takes a lot of damage as well. He's going to miss a shot on the Na, and that is going to make quite a difference now, as Clash are in control of the middle. They have a slightly better positioning, although HP-wise it's going to be a small advantage for Totem. Kel's going for the flames, doesn't connect them, but Soy de Breza is down to 720 HP, and Ikels during that fight is just constantly going to be reloading his super as well, has it available now. Gonna place it maybe not in the best position, but it is a choke point just removed for now, as Guille does fall to Mari. Maru is able to dodge the flames, and this is the chance for Totem to make something out of this set, as they are 20 seconds away from overtime, and they're getting in better and better positioning here against Clash.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen some kind of like map positional advantage. We haven't seen any for the last 90 seconds. It's been absolutely ridiculous, as Clash have been playing so well, but objectively they just couldn't really do anything, as Maru now looking to try and push back Gil if he can. But this is going to be the opportunity, and there we have it, as they do eventually manage to score on the literally the first few seconds of overtime. And there we have it, Teddy. We've got a series on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is really important, as we said. Like, Totem, they want to go to Siege. Of course, if they can end it before that, sure. But the further we go into this match, the better it's going to be for Totem. As the further game modes are the better ones for them as well. I don't remember what is number 4. It could not be the best. But even then, like, it's just really solid from Totem. Winning the best game mode from Clash, right? Clash that is arguably the best team in the world in Brawl Ball. It doesn't mean that they never lose in Brawl Ball. They certainly do, but it's just so rare for them to lose, and especially, you know, starting off from a dominant position where they did have the advantage and were only like a game away from taking the set. Totem, they managed to come back. They weren't like getting scared off, and that's really impressive. And how consistent Totem has been in the last couple of weeks compared to, you know, how we usually know Totem to be like one of the most inconsistent teams in the region. It's really impressive, and they're really showing why this year many consider them being top 5 in the region. It's because, you know, compared to last year, they're actually able to win multiple matches in a row and not just the odd one against one of the top teams and then just lose the next one.
Yeah, it's quite funny as well, because when you say that, when you see like a top team in like that tier 1 kind of bracket say that they have like a favorite game mode or best game mode, people just made the assumption like, oh, they must have a 100% win rate on it, when, well, clearly not, because it depends on the circumstance of who you're actually playing against. As now we look at the set stats: 10 more kills for Clash, 39,000 more damage. I kind of feel like it was a little bit more damage from Clash, because every single time, especially right at the very start of the game, after the first 30 seconds, Clash would always dictate the pace and the tempo of how things will pan out. They just had so much map possession and just couldn't really do anything with it. But that's just the defending from Totem and how well they were able to, you know, Ferrari pick a lot of the bits and pieces from the barricades, just timing their attacks, just keeping them at bay, and they've just been a real pain in the backside. And it was just great defending from Totem overall. And you saw that every time Totem had some kind of advantage in terms of positional advantage on the map, they were able to take it by the horn straight away. So it was just good offense from Clash, but good defense from Totem. But then again, the attack from Clash just wasn't as good, which is, you know, very uncharacteristic of Clash, considering, you're right though, you know, it is one of their best game modes. But we're going to see how things will pan out in set number 3. It will be a mirror match between both teams, and we're going to find out what is going to happen. As Mori is already looking to see them push up in that middle lane. Mari's taking a huge amount of damage on that left lane, but it's going to look to push on up and take the kill onto Gil. And now we're going to see if this push will continue on forward. But so far it's been pretty stale to start with.
Yeah, man, the play from Mari and Mary to pick up the kill onto Gil on the left-hand side was just really solid, and that should be another kill. Oh, a bit of a misplay there from Mary. But Clash, no matter what, look at that, they have a pretty solid lead in gems so far. Look at that, Mari. He's gonna hope to get a bit of a sneaky pull there, but he's gonna get spotted and will get the pull onto Guy, but obviously he's not carrying any gems. I think the burn did connect onto Lena, so he's gonna have to back off, especially with Mari getting a good tag onto Ikels. And indeed, HP-wise, it's just very low for everyone in the mid, so they can't really afford to overextend, especially with Mari having a pull available. And I like sort of Breza just helping out on the left lane. He's all the way on the right lane, but he still helps out because he knows that Mari is going to struggle a lot more taking down some tower shadows.
Yeah, that was great stuff from him. Clash still up by a couple of gems. As now's Chaos still on that right lane, and Lanai's also with him playing that support. As Maru's still looking to see if he can tickle his opponents with a little bit of damage here and there on that left lane. But so far so good. Neither team really gaining a lot more map possession, just a bit of a positional advantage here and there. The shadows do come in, and you see when Maru does take him down, this could be the opportunity to get that numbers advantage and push on up. But Brazier and Chaos is having that engagement. Brazier does actually win, but does get taken down in the process. But that doesn't change the fact that the countdown is going to continue, as Maury's looking to push all the way back here, but you can't push too far back because then the countdown will just reset straight after, waiting for that next gem, which they collect. And now it's pretty much even Stevens, as both players in that left lane were just cleaned out. That was absolutely huge for Clash. And Clash, of course, with the 20 gems, pulling all the way back here, and it's going to be very difficult for Tome, especially with those 2 deaths straight off the bat.
Lena is just a ridiculous, sorry, not Lena, Guy is just a ridiculous Tara. I thought Lena, because he has like, basically, you know, Lena has Lure in front of his name, and Guy has VGX at the end of his, and Lena and Guy thought it would be funny to have one called Le Guille and the other one Le Nain VGX, just to like mess with us casters and make things more complicated. Especially when you have a very clear point ahead of you, and then you just get the name wrong. But anyways, Guy is a ridiculous tower. It's just insane how much value you find. Like towards the end, he got the double pool. Like he was so patient. He literally just calculated that pool to be absolutely perfect to get all the gems, plus have no one to be able to like get the trade because he would get both kills. So solid stuff from him that is going to give the advantage back to Clash. And this is a game mode that Totem really wants, because after this we're going to Heist, and Heist is kind of like 50-50. We don't really know how that's going to go, and I think that 50-50, I mean, it's better probably than what Totem can expect on most game modes, but they want everything that can go in their way going their way, and that was the type of games that once again were so close and that they could have closed out.
Yeah, every second has been decisive here in this matchup, especially towards the last part of that last game, especially with those two deaths back to back from Totem, which was a little bit of a shame, but that's just Leonard doing his thing as per usual. As Gil still in that left lane. Mori doesn't actually know this, and he's going to know now, especially after those last two attacks, has to pull all the way back. That was huge from Gil there. He had to make something happen in that left lane, and he has done. He's only on 440 HP, still takes down Maru. Mori's trying to look for blood and try and clean him up, but Gil still
almost taking him up,
but the knight actually supported him as if he played a little bit of ring around the rosy to finish him up in that left lane, but he's still there, Teddy, still going back and forth. Maru finally, after all that, takes him down, but the damage has already been done here, Teddy, as now Clash have 8 gems, but need to pull all the way back and regroup with the rest of the squad.
Yeah, this is rather good for a Clash, isn't it? There are a lot of gems in the middle, and I do like Totem just not really picking them up just yet. But yeah, that is the kind of thing that are gonna happen. Maru picks one up accidentally. It's not the end of the world, but it is a situation where if he does get pulled and he gives 1 gem, yup, I just had to say it. It's gonna put Clash on 9 and just make things extra complicated. So low HP goes down. That's the gem they need here. Mari does have the pull, so no one can overextend, but a great kill from Guille is gonna take care of it, and Lena and a Chaos are able to just pick up the last gem they need. Now it's gonna be interruption time for Totem, as they're gonna need a super important kill in the next 7 seconds. It doesn't look very likely as they lose the Gene. Maru without a super, and that is gonna be AQM with set number 3 secure, leading 2-1 in sets now.
I could be wrong here, Teddy, but I saw 7 gems laid on the ground on the side of Tome, and there was enough time to pick up 3 in the middle. So I'm actually surprised they went for that attack, and I don't think either team were too sure whether to take the risk or not in terms of timing. So Clash seemed to have pulled all the way back anyway, but I feel like Totem actually could have just picked up those gems and managed to pick up the next 3 and then be able to tie the countdown. So I'm not really too sure.
Were there 7 gems at the moment the countdown started?
There was, I think, 6 on the south side, and I think 1 literally just appeared into the middle and respawned as the time was going. But I suppose we'll find out in the highlights.
In
anyway.
the 15 seconds, there's like 8 gems. There's only 2 gems that spawn, by the way. So I don't think that would have worked. It could have been close, but I'm not sure. I thought there were like 6 or something, so I didn't even like look at it too much. But I'm not 100% sure either. So. Yeah, it did get quite messy towards the end. I'm guessing there weren't enough, but it can get really close though, you know? Sometimes it's just about like, what can happen too is that the final gem is picked up really late by Clash, for example, and then there is kind of time for 3 gems to spawn, but also not really most of the time, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't spawn on you, like if it spawns a couple of like meters away from you, then you're in big time trouble, right? Because there's like 1 second left, and the gem is like on the other side of the small area where the gems spawn, and you just don't have time to pick it up. So I don't think it was possible, but it was definitely close.
Yeah, it really was. I think because what happened was I saw like 7 on the ground, and I saw 1 literally respawn in the middle, and I was like, okay, this actually could be very close, but maybe they were just trying to push up so far on the map early because they weren't too sure of the timing, which is, I suppose, why we were discussing this. But Yeah, man. Anyway, Teddy, that was in the past. That was going to be a game for Clash once again, or set, shall I say, as Clash are now up 2-1 in sets. And Totem, still got one to the name. If they manage to win this, then, they will be looking pretty good, like you mentioned earlier, Teddy, about Siege being, not the best of game modes for Clash. And Heist could be a good way to get Totem back into this. I don't think it's, in terms of percentile of like who's been doing what or who's been doing well, anything like that, Totem are playing a lot better against Clash than I kind of expected fundamentally. But still, when you've got people like Lenart and Gil just like doing these like great individual plays and just really delaying their opponents and just being so good with their timings and what they want to do, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But hopefully Totem can bring this back and take it to a set number 5. But we'll see what happens as Clash not looking the best to start with, as Totem has already done a huge amount of damage to the safe, nearly 20%, and now they're trying to look to see if they can push the guys on Totem back here.
Yeah, so far it's been a nice start from Totem, but Clash are starting to set up the base a little more and the pressure towards Totem, as Chaos is getting some nice shots done onto Soy. There was a kill from Marrow with the flames, I believe, but look at that, Lenart is gonna hit the super onto Marrow, which means he will be taking more damage, and Lenart just gets some nice snipes left and right as Chaos closes out the kill. Marrow is going to be in quite a bit of trouble as well. He just takes too much damage at this point, and this is going to be some damage from AQM towards that blue safe. Mari going for the snipes, but he doesn't really connect too many, and it's only a 8% difference now, and AQM was just a little bit more control. This could be pretty nice for them. So the Brezza was an important kill, a bit of an over peak from Ikeos. Does get the trade, so no damage gets dealt on that red safe, and Maru can't quite get in range either, so that's gonna slow things down a little bit. A bit of a stalemate so far this game, as both teams are not having the easiest time finding some value, but that shot just found so much damage across the board. That should be Clash taking back the lead. It is still close, but they are so far going to be on top, and Totem, they need to clutch up. They need to find some damage in the next 20 seconds or it's going to be match point.
Yeah, damage has been a talking point overall. Just Clash have been doing so well, just out damaging their opponents overall, but in terms of even getting anywhere near to safe to inflict even more damage to try and get the W, I'm not sure if it's going to happen here. It is good to try and push it up, but it's not going to do too much here. It's already their own safe is going to inflict a ton more in comparison. And maybe have a Clash will win the first game of this set, and it will be match point now, as Clash looking very, very solid. And this is what we expected, or because they predicted now from Clash, is they're looking a lot more sensible, looking a lot more stable now going to each of these sets, and looking much better compared to what we saw earlier on.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Totem have had a bit of an history just somehow randomly taking down Clash out of nowhere and in ways that are just not expected, like, winning some of the best game modes from Clash that happen to be some of the worst of Totem traditionally. That kind of stuff has just happened so many times. But so far today, I mean, Brawl did kind of show that pattern, because it is, where AC Milan and Clash loves to play the most. But besides that, it wasn't all that convincing from Totem. They didn't pick up a single game in nor Bounty, nor Jam Grab, and it could be the same here in Heist. And with match points coming up, they need to start winning in this game mode. Otherwise, it's going to be a quick affair, and we'll be moving on to our second semi-final. Now, if they do manage to win this game, then they go with some momentum towards the decider game, and potentially, towards fifth set of Siege, which is Clash's worst game mode. So that could be everything lining up perfectly with them, but they need to start with a win here in this game of Siege, of Bounty. And if they don't pick it up, then it's gonna be over.
Yeah, they know this is their last chance to make something happen here. As already though, Brazier has taken down one, and this is a replica of what we saw in that last game. Already done a nice chunk of damage onto the safe straight away. Brazier very weak, but still able to take down Chaos with that range and using that Piper to inflict a little bit more if he can. And Maru's also taken another one, so they're continuously getting this numbers advantage on the respawn of Clash, and this is looking much better. Maru takes down Lana, and Mori takes down Chaos here. Gil's the last one left standing on that right lane. Look at the damage done on that save, Teddy, down to 43%. They have pulled all the way back. The damage has been done, and now Clash are looking for revenge here as Mori just trying to keep him back as much as possible with the amount of damage he's inflicting. They've tickled the safe ever so slightly, but still got plenty of time left in this game for them to do a revenge sweep and try and inflict as much damage as what Totem did earlier on, as Maru actually takes down 2, and now Clash on the back foot once again.
I love the comp from Totem. I love how they went for a risky strategy to play Piper, but Piper can be so strong against Bell, especially combined with a Bell of your own. It's just a lot of stuff to deal with, and it really diffuses Lana from getting the most value of the best brawler in the game at the moment, which is just like absolutely insane. And they're able to just snipe people off from afar. Now this is a good push here because Mari can take a lot of damage down to 70 HP. Lana does burn. That should be enough to pick up the kill, but the shield and the heals coming through from Guille are going to heal him back up. And look at that, Clash close from taking back the lead right now. Maru falls. Guille should be falling as well as so takes him down, but it's a 10% lead for Clash. Totem do have a bit of a position to push back up again, but it's not going to be that easy as Chaos is low HP, doesn't quite fall just yet, and is going to survive for now. Lana getting tagged up as well. Chaos is low HP too, 300 HP, with only 15 seconds left, and Totem need 11% damage to get back into this game.
Oh my god, Chaos has been doing such a good job. He stayed alive so well on that right lane, but Mori has taken down one and Brazer's taken down another. Looking at Brazer's list to push all the way up to see if he can do any more damage to the safe, but he couldn't. They did win that last engagement, but they're not going to win the set as Clash managed to take that 3-1 in the series overall. They were looking so good, and I feel sorry for Totem, like commiseration to them. They do place in the top 4, so out of the 32 teams which have been competing over the last 6 weeks, they are going to be very happy about that considering their form a couple of weeks ago. But Totem did look much better, came off the bat really strong, kept their map control, and they were out damaging Clash really hard for the first minute of the game. But Chaos in that right lane individually was just doing so well. I was pulling back when it was required, just knowing the ranges so well of some of these comps and just barely be able to back away on so many different occasions and inflicting so much damage when he shouldn't have, in all fairness, got away with it. And it just proves like how much talent is on this Clash team. They did a fantastic job overall and look forward to seeing them in the grand final.
Man, Clash are looking pretty scary. We saw some weaknesses here and there, but some weaknesses for them in Brawl Ball just means like still better than any other team in the game mode over consistency, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. They had a solid performance. They took down Totem, that was one of those teams that had been surprising all of us and getting some really impressive wins left and right in this in this league, right? Whether it was a group stage or later on, we've been surprised quite a couple of times. So honestly, great stuff from Totem. They had a really nice season, but they will have to settle with top 4. That is, I believe, $2,400 secured. That's quite a hefty sum, so congratulations to them. Clash are going to be moving to the grand finals, right? They're going to be either first or second, and this is where it gets interesting because SK, they've been pretty much winning against them on most events, and we might be getting there.
Yeah, just having a quick look to see how these teams actually got to the grand finals or got to the finals here today. You can see Reply Totem is end of the road, and they did lose to Clash in that semi-finals. But our next series of the day is going to be SK Gaming versus Big. It's going to be another huge matchup here. The winner will go to the grand final. The loser, that is them done and dusted. And you are right, Teddy. You know, these teams will still be playing for a huge chunk of change. But for everyone here still watching, thank you for joining us, as we've still got 2 more matches left to go. So don't go anywhere, as we're going to have just a quick break. But here's some highlights before we go. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gamestars League Season 1 for Brawl Stars. Lethal, Teddy, we've been here for the last 6 weeks, still got 2 more matches left to go. The first semi-final does go into the hands of Clash, AC Milan's Clash shall we say, and Reply Totem, sadly for them, they do place in the top 4, but they've got a nice chunk of change to their name, so not really too much to complain about. You know, they got pretty far, probably, you know, not as far as they expected considering the amount of obstacles they've had to endure going through the course of this competition. But as you can see, the next matchup is going to be SK Gaming versus EXO. SK Gaming yesterday made quick work of Kazaki yesterday evening, and Big you know, they struggled a bit against EXO, and EXO were the ones who were able to take down Big Clan here. So it will be SK Gaming versus EXO, a great matchup here and a good indicator to see how well SK Gaming are feeling today. And I think, you know, quite a few people will say that SK are the favourites coming into this. And EXO didn't look too bad yesterday. They, you know, obviously weren't the strongest, but they're still able to take down Big Clan after, you know, a bit of a wobbly start into the series. But I will look forward to see how SK Gaming are feeling in terms of their recent form going into this matchup.
You know, SK, they are the best team in Europe from far, and they are arguably the best team in the world as well. I feel like most pros across the world just pretty much agree on that. They are somehow like, they don't have weaknesses. Like, they're like good on like everywhere or excellent, which is like just completely unreal. EXO, they're a really solid team as well, but they're just really far from being as consistent as SK Gaming. And that's the thing with SK Gaming, you know, like there are a couple of game ones where they are excellent, like Siege. I believe they have like almost 100%. Yeah, they have 100% win rate this year in Siege, which is just like, how? Like, how do you get 100% win rate? And I'm talking about like monthly finals and tier 1 leagues. They literally have not dropped a single set of Siege in the last like 3 months, or not that I could find. So that is, you know, not just like excellent, that's perfect. So it's really, really hard to take them down. And the thing is, on the other game modes, it's not really like they're any worse, and that just makes them so versatile. There's just like 2 or 3 game modes where they're like just god tier, and then the others, they're still like amongst the best of the region, which just means that if there's like, you know, two or 3 of those three game modes playable, it's almost a free win early on already in the match. So it's just, yeah, it's just unbelievable. EXO, they are going to need to play at their highest level if they want to win this one. The bans are going to be Byron on the side of SK, EXO going for Poco. Those are the go-to bans here for single bans per team. So this is what they have been going for a while. That does mean that both Stu and Bell are going to be playable, and that's definitely going to be an interesting story.
I still find it quite funny that, you know, you say SK have a 100% win rate on Siege. It's basically, so they're basically the opposite of Clash. Like, maybe Clash need to do a little bit of research on how SK plays Clash, because that plays Siege. That's absolutely balmy, though. That's definitely a win rate to be proud of. Before we go into it, though, sadly we will not see any Siege. We will be playing on Gem Grab for Corner Case. Sneaky Fields parallel plays Purple Paradise. That sneaked in there, Teddy, as you may have noticed, in the 4th set, and Snaked Assault for the final set for some heist if it does go that far. You know, Purple Paradise, we meme about it but quite a lot now and again, but it's a good way to start things off if, you know, to see the fundamentals and mechanics of both teams. But, you know, we won't see that until later on, as literally we're going to jump straight into it. The trades are coming up between Sky and YDE. Semantic and Jetton still holding, you know, the latest side of EXO's map here. And Yoshi, you know, he's been great so far. Yesterday, he was definitely one of the MVPs of the competition to have such great individual ability to make so many clutch plays and so many game-changing plays nonetheless. And we'll have to see if it can continue on through. But it's going to be a real struggle against the likes of SK, as they're already up 5 gems to 1. And EXO looking to see what they can do to push SK back.
Yeah, so far it is a pretty good lead for SK. That's a nice pull, but Yoshi's gonna miss his, and he's also just giving away all of his gems for some unknown reason. That's gonna be SK on 7, make it 8. Semantic not in the best position to fall back with his own gems, but YD is low HP, and that creates a bit of space. 1 gem away from getting the countdown. Now, I believe on this map, yeah, there is a TP on the back side of the map, so they can get in the back line quite easily. But nevertheless, they're able to clear up that kill, and that should be enough for SK to be untouchable. And unless we get a crazy pull from Curse, he has a pull available, gonna find it onto Skyrix. If they can take the kill, that's enough, but YD finds a kill of his own, and he has a couple of gems now as well, but can he escape? Doesn't seem very likely with 39 HP and a Semantic being invincible and running into his face. That is going to be the countdown once more for SK, and this time around Jet has 10 gems, so EXO, they can only take him down, but with no time left and no one alive nearby, I don't think that's going to be happening very much. SK Gaming to pick up the first game in honestly a pretty convincing way.
It was very, very clean from what we saw there. I think it's nice the fact that the players on EXO still try to overextend and try and take some of those bouts. You know, you can see a lot of the confidence showing through. Not really too much to say really, or too much to dissect. I just feel like SK, their teamwork was very solid, the coordination was on par, good time attacks here and there, and some of those right lanes. And apart from that, SK just continuing what they do best. You know, it's like you said, on every single game they're either good or they're great. They don't really have a inverted quotes off day like, you know, some of the other teams do have, you know, time and time again, which can be a little bit frustrating for some of them. They just take the ball by the horns and just go straight for it. And JMG can be a little bit iffy now and again, depending on how much, you know, positional advantage you have as a team. But SK seems to be able to hold it down very, very well in terms of damage and everything else. And look forward to see if SK can do the same in game number 2, or maybe a comp change for on the side of EXO, or maybe just try something different entirely. You know, there's a lot of things you can do on this map, and I'd like to see how they can potentially excel further.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the closer they get to mirror matchup, the tougher it's gonna be. SK, they're just that good with the comps, and they're probably gonna be just more prepared in general just because of that, you know? It's really hard to outcomp SK, and that's also why one of the reasons why they are so strong is that they have such versatile comps all the time. Like, there's rarely like hard counter opportunities, and when somehow there is and you decide to play something to hard counter them, they somehow were ready and counter you instead. It's just absolutely insane. But looking at Semantic is gonna go down. He did deal like so much damage overall, but both Curse and Yash surviving. With a Gene, they're gonna be healing up quite quickly, and that's gonna be finally some map control in favor of XL.
Yeah, Jet and this guy decided not to push and maybe try and clean up those 2 kills on that left lane, which Semantic did early on, which was understandable because they do have plenty of time in this matchup. I'm up 4-2 as Cursed is behind him here, and if he loses those 2 gems, it's going to just make matters even worse, as Cursed still looking to back away if he can. Sky and Semantic, good teamwork for them to pull all the way back just to clean up. Cursed is jetting now on the fray here to see if it can do a little bit more damage onto YDE, but the players on EXO have regrouped, and Curse is pushing that middle lane ever so slightly. But YDE is looking to see where they're going to go first. They reacted to Yoshi's flank straight away without any hesitation at all. Curse and YDE need to pull back, but at the same time, they're trying to force the players on SK onto the defense, but it's just not going to happen here. As Sky does take down YDE, Jettin is literally right next to him looking to push Curse, which they have done. That's another member down for EXO, and time is ticking here, Teddy.
Yeah, 10 seconds left here. The countdown on SK. EXO, they can go for the flank with a teleporter, but it's not going to be an easy job nevertheless. Yoshi going for the pull does not connect. Isn't even close to connect, to be honest. Semantic somehow just never going down there. And that is going to be SK to pick up the first set. Now, oddly enough, Gem Grab is one of their weaker game modes, but even then, it's not like they're anywhere near to be like bad on it, right? It goes a long way when one of their weaker game modes is like 75% win rate. That just says a lot about.
So low. That's so low.
Yeah, that's so bad. Like they lose one set out of 4 here. That's just like. How, you know what I mean? Like only against tier 1 as well, you know what I mean? So this is this is still like a pretty decent game mode overall for them. I think that things can get interesting if we see some highs. We'll have to check in a bit if that's even an option in this match. I'm not sure I remember. But anywho, SK, yeah, well, they're SK, right? They're being dominant. Wow. They're showing some amazing stuff. And yeah, there's not all that much we can say about it, right? It's just unbelievable how strong and consistent those guys are, and they didn't really give much of a chance to XO in this set, to be honest. Like they had some little chances here and there to make something happen, but nothing did.
No, not at all. Poor guys, you know. XO looking like it's going to be a pretty one-sided matchup during that first set. 19 kills to the 6 of XO, and I think I saw just briefly just under 26,000 more damage. So the damage was there, they just couldn't make anything of it. But Yoshi, bless him, he did try a couple of times to flank behind him. I think Cursor was one of the other players as well, but SK, they just weren't falling for it. They were ready for any kind of flank from the TP by any means necessary, and they would just react instantly. And it was just great structured plays from SK. We're going to see if it continues going into set number 2 now. If you're just joining us, SK are up 1-0 in the series against XO. This is the second semi-final, and YDE does have the ball. Going to push up with Yoshi here to see if they can get an early goal.
Yeah, so far a bit of a better control situation for XO. Yoshi does have the pull. This could be big. This could be really big, as he does connect it on Skyrix, where he has a lot of HP to work with. But wow, Semantic just melts him down. He's gonna get pulled. That's a nice opening for XO to just get some of those walls out of the way, get back to a 2v2 situation. But still, it's not gonna be easier, as Curse does get pulled right before he picks up that kill. And XO, they are in a 2v2, but not really able to find the opening just yet, although Yoshi does have his pull available, and that could be the difference maker.
Certainly could be indeed. Not the best of starts for SK, but they're looking much better compared to that first minute, as Sky will push the ball upwards on the front line. But you see they're Cursed, just waiting to see exactly what SK plans to do on their next approach. But YDE is still in that left lane. Cursor just realised Jet is still holding the belt on that middle lane, but doesn't get back to Sky and Semantic in time, which means XO do have that numbers advantage. Looking to see if they can get the port on Yoshi. Yoshi does get Sky in the end, and that's going to be 2 down now for SK. This is a great opportunity to push on through, and that should be an easy goal there for XO, and a great way to start things off. Took a little bit of time in the end, but they made it work.
Yeah, good stuff from XO. They really needed that, but I wouldn't count SK out of this game just yet. We've seen how calm they keep. YD gonna get pulled. That's the opening, as Semantic is trying to keep Curse and Yoshi away, but it's not the easiest angle for him to deal with Yoshi. Pinch coming through from Jeden, able to get some nice tags. Curse with the pull, connects blindly onto Skyrix, but the blind pull from Yoshi is gonna be a miss. Semantic does fall, and with 10 seconds left, and a push from XO, that should be game going towards XO.
Yeah, it looks like it will be, but they're just going to add insult to injury there and will win that 2-0 right at the very end. So very good start from XO here. SK only looked flaky on some of the occasions, but the thing is, well, like XO just took the advantage straight away. They didn't really muck around, hesitate, slow down. They, coordinated very well. They seem to be a lot more on pace and, dictating the pace here compared to what we've seen in previous matchups in the past. So looking very good. This is exactly how you need to play against SK.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, good stuff from XO here. Able to get back into this match. Well, one more game and they would really be back and tie things up. That would be quite important, because against SK, you absolutely need to take whatever they give you. If they make some mistakes here and there, if you're able to force some mistakes and pick up some games, they have to be sets. You have to turn them into sets. Otherwise, it's not going to be enough on the long run. SK is just so consistent. They will always win. They will always win. So you need to take every single little mistake they make, which is not a whole lot of mistakes, by the way. You have to just capitalize on it and bet everything you have on it. That's really how you should be approaching SK right now, because they are that good. And if you're a bit newer to Brawl esports, you might be thinking like, oh, those guys, they're just like big SK fans. No, man, they are just literally that good. Like, even the biggest fans of any other team, we just agree right now that SK, they're just built different. But XO, they're looking to challenge that today, as Skyrix takes a lot of early damage, but Semantic is there with the kill onto Cursed. YD is low HP as well, and this should be a nice 2-man advantage as SK start pushing up. Well, Cursed is going to fall. I was going to say the knockback, but he goes down before he can use his gadget, and that's SK with just a quick goal just like that.
Yeah, not a bad way to start things off. SK looking for revenge after that first game in the second set. Sky does take down YDE, so nice little early numbers advantage, but they're not going to push up onto this as of yet. They feel like they've had too much damage inflicted onto them to then go on forward, but YDE manages to take down Jetimer, so good stuff from him. EXO looking to try and breach the gap if they can. The ball stuck on that left lane, so even if they do take down all the members of SK, another team wipe will be required. The Semantic's going to try and push on from behind, but Yoshi knew he was there anyway. The shadows do come out. Jetin still looking to turn back away, but also inflicts a lot of damage onto Curse and finishes him off and pushes back Yoshi here, as Yoshi left on 420 HP does back away. And you can see here EXO getting clearly outnumbered. Yoshi just tried one of those boxes, not going to happen, but does take down one with him before he gets cleaned up himself, as Curse takes down another.
Yeah, and that is good from EXO, but the thing is, was a minute left and the ball cornered in a bit of an odd position. EXO are gonna have to battle it out really fiercely if they want to come back. YD gonna get pulled. That's gonna be the kill from Skyrix. Ex-teammates back in the days of SK from 2020. As Semantic goes for some damage on Curse, but will cost him his life. Bull is cornered in even more of an awkward position, which will make it complicated for EXO to get out of there, especially with Curse going down. Now EXO, it's just a bad timing to get pulled, right? You have the man disadvantage. You have to do something soon enough, and being a bit too passive here against SK isn't quite gonna make the cut. As XOFA, they can't quite close out this set just yet, and SK, they will tie things up, but you know, they keep that set advantage, so it is looking a bit scary for EXO. They have the potential to tie things up, but at the same time, if they lose this game, then it's 2-0. SK double down on their lead, and I don't think anyone has reverse swept SK pretty much since like a year ago, so they need to be careful here, EXO. They can't drop this game, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think SK's defense on that game in general was much better. They had a very good start. I kind of feel like you saw there, SK making very minor errors here and there, but the only difference now is the fact that EXO didn't exploit them as much as they did previously, which is why, there were some instances where they was heavily outnumbered, but they were able to get the trades, which is great from EXO. That's the whole point in that situation. If you're outnumbered, just go for the trades. Someone on the respawn will be able to defend it anyways until you respawn the rest of your team, which is perfectly understandable. But yeah, you're right though. Like, if the fact that SK haven't been reverse swept in like a year or more, then in terms of facts or statistics, yeah, that's not something you want to try and compete against, especially if SK are an all-rounded team with very little inconsistencies across the board. So EXO will be looking to try and see if they can now continue putting on the pressure and actually being able to, take this either 1-1 or SK could actually go away with a 2-0 lead. But, the only thing you can say, you haven't got SK's best game mode in any of these 5 sets, but it doesn't matter, like you mentioned earlier, as now we're going to see if SK are going to try and clean this up and take this to a 2-0 series scoreline, or if EXO can respond like they did in that first game and be able to exploit some of these very, minuscule mistakes from SK. As Yoshi is pushing up on that left lane, has been taken down. Curse did a good kill on Semantic, but YD is taking down Sky, so great early advantage. Jett is going to get taken down as well. Surely that's going to be a goal. Yes, it is, as Yoshi gets the first one on the board for EXO in this third game.
Yeah, that is important for EXO. We've talked so much about how important this set is for them, but it's starting to come true, and SK are going to be the ones getting challenged a bit more here, that need to find an opening, as Skyrix doesn't have the pull available, so does Cursed. That's going to be Skyrix using his. Yashi, though, with a nice double pull. Yashi, can he turn that into a double kill? He certainly can, but he is going to fool himself, which will slow things down, and EXO just defending is enough. They don't need more goals. They just need to make sure that SK don't pick up a goal of their own. But defending always is dangerous because, if there is a nice team wipe or something, the ball is already right next to your goal. Everyone is already attacking you and up close to your defenses, so it can be really quick. But so far, EXO is holding on as we head towards our final minute of this game.
Yeah, Jetin in that middle lane was being extremely cautious, wondering when Yoshi and Curse were going to push from that right side. Brawl comes in. Sky does take down YDE, and it means only 2 members left standing for EXO. They do have that 1-0 lead in this game, but they need to be really careful here. Yoshi's the last man left standing. YDE does have that respawn immunity, but they're not going to push on any further. They know that one team wipe should do it, but the ball is trapped on that right corner as well. But saying that though, sadly for them, Sky does have to pull back. Jettin is trapped on the left lane, looking to regroup with the rest of the pack, as Cursed and YDE still looking to pile on the pressure. And now Yoshi has returned to rejoin the fray, as Sky taking a huge amount of damage in that middle lane. Semantic and Sky looking to push on up if they can, maybe even bait and switch as they push on further. As Yoshi's gone all the way back onto the goal line. YD and Yoshi know that if they just get a couple of kills here, they can easily stop this from happening. And look at this. EXO managed to take game number 3 and have tied the series at 1-1.
What an important game here to pick up for EXO-FA, and they certainly will. So we are all tied up in sets. Now it is really getting juicy for this match. Obviously, you know, SK just favors from their position, but at the same time, EXO are showing them what they are made of, and they are definitely looking pretty convincing today as well. They will force things to at least set 4. Curse was a bit of a celebration after the goal. You love to see it, showing some confidence, but also, you know, that they are proud of their performance here against SK Gaming.
Yeah, we're not going to see a Euphorio dance like we did yesterday, but do you know what? I appreciate that. You know, it's good enough. It's good enough. It is finals day, of course. We need to see, you know, a bit of banner from some of these players, and it's nice to see something from them. But yeah, back to the game, I would probably say that EXO just been very good at trading out, and it's very difficult to like push it in any way, shape or form. SK were just looking for team wipes on, you know, multiple occasions, and even with that ball left into the corner, like it's going to cause them to have like at least 2 team wipes in order to force the situation. And look at the slaying difference in comparison. Before, SK had 19 kills to the 6 of EXO. EXO have made a massive or mammoth difference in comparison. I know it's only by 5 kills, but compared to that first set, it's literally night and day. 19,000 more damage. That's a much better performance from EXO. It's just a matter of if they can keep this up and keep up with the level of consistency going forward.
I mean, it's definitely possible, you know what I mean? Like those kind of matches and top teams, anyone in the semifinals we've watched could have won against anyone. It's really that strong of a region. Thing is, SK, they're just more consistent, so that doesn't mean that, you know, overall EXO doesn't stand a chance. It's just that SK, you know, on 10 matchups, they'll probably win like 7 against EXO, and that makes the difference in the long run. But for one individual match, it can absolutely go to EXO. We are going to be moving to a hot zone though. That is going to be a bit of an interesting story. I mean, SK, we just know how good they are in general, especially those slightly more tactical and control-based games. Hot Zone is one of those, so they should come in with a bit of an advantage. But once again, it's going to come down to the preparation from EXO as well. How ready they are to be facing SK in this position on this map, and maybe they have something special cooked to try to surprise us a little bit here, because I think they could really use that.
Yeah, some of these teams do have the aces up their sleeves, and now's a good time to use it, unless SK wants to, you know, try and close this series out as standard as possible and then save it for Clash. It could be, you know, numerous different things, because, you know, it's a big prize pool here, you know, what they're all playing for, and a nice chunk of change even in the top 4. So it depends what SK want to do here. I think they will release some of their strategies eventually, and they know that Clash are going to be watching this and, you know, making notes on exactly what Clash are going to be up to, because they need every little advantage possible. Let's be real, like, you know, considering what you said about how consistent SK are across the board for every single game mode, and with this map pool as well, they have to improvise at the same time. So it's just literally one thing led to another. So we have to look now and see how EXO do. It is tied up in this series. It was very back and forth. We saw that, you know, with EXO, they tried to exploit as much as they could, and they did in the end eventually. So at least that way, you know, we still got a few more sets to come. But if you're just joining us, welcome. This is the second semi-final. We do have the grand final straight afterwards. Every single match is going to be a best of 5 and a best of 3 sets in each game. And if you guys want to join us for season 2, registration is now open, so you've got no excuse to not enter and try and compete in season 2 for the Gamestars League. And it will start very soon, so make sure you get involved over at brawlstars.gamestars.com. And then, or if not, if you completely forgotten the website I've just said, don't worry, I'm sure there's a direct link in the chat every few minutes or every few seconds, depending on how quickly Nightbot is working with you guys. As now we're going to head into set number 3, game 1, all tied up between both these juggernauts, and we're going to see how both teams are going to play out in game number 1.
Yeah, SK. So far, they are a couple of percentages behind, as they are not really deciding to stick to that bottom left zone all that much. Want to favor some more aggression. Burn from Whitey doesn't quite connect, and that does mean that a bit of value is being lost as SK are pushing up, starting already some enemy territory invasion. That's why he is quite low HP. Semantic looking for the finish, but can't quite find any closure in that fight, and Whitey is going to be back to full HP. Right zone captured by XO. SK are quite behind, which, you know, is not like they can't catch up. They just need to walk into their zone to do so. But they're focusing a lot on enemy territory. It's not like they've found a whole lot, to be honest. They got like 1% of their side.
Yeah, I can understand it a little bit going for your enemy's territory first, just to be a little bit unorthodox off the bat, but it hasn't really worked out. They've continued to do it. YD finally gets taken down. He's left on 20 HP for like at least about 5 seconds. Jeton takes down Cursed. Yoshi just trying to hold on for dear life here, Teddy, as both Jeton and Sky go back and forth. Another ring around the rosy around that right zone. Cursed actually manages to come and support him, and Yoshi, even though he didn't do much damage, such a great play from him, just wasting so much time as Jeton puts into the right zone as well, as YD greets Yoshi to try and at least push back Jeton, which they have done. And now things have almost tied up here. 45 to 50% EXO with a very tiny lead, but a lead nonetheless with almost a minute left to go.
Yeah, that lead is actually really, really significant because they still have half of their own zone to capture, and that shouldn't be all too complicated. So they're like almost at 75% captured pretty much. That is really, really huge for SK, as XO, I mean, invading on enemy territory is much, much more difficult, and they haven't even stepped into the zone just yet. YD will get about a percentage now, and that's all he can get of that push. That, I think, just, you know, validates my point here of how hard it is to invade. 69% on SK, 25 seconds left for XO to try to match that, and they will get Yoshi into the zone, so that's definitely gonna be a start, but it's not gonna be any easier nevertheless. It's looking pretty good though, all things considered. 4 seconds. YDE is just not getting chased out of the zone, and look at that, a bit of an odd decision from SK, a bit of a throw, which is very unorthodox from SK. They are usually so good at making those decisions, but I don't know why they decided to leave YD in that zone and only Semantic to defend. With, you know, the way the wolves are positioned, there's just no way he wins that fight, right? Like, there's no way he loses it, but there's also no way for him to actually get the kill and get him out of the zone. So yeah, a bit of an interesting choice. I think there was some hesitation in whether they should defend it and try to hope that, you know, they can keep XO from walking in for like 5-6% that they needed, or they should have invaded on the other side and try to keep the lead constantly, and never let XO actually catch up, because SK would keep banking their own percentages. And in the end, it was kind of both. And with Semantic being on the left side doing nothing, he was just useless, while whereas YD was, you know, banking percentages, so he was being useful to his team, whereas Semantic was just waiting for someone to pinch, and no one ever came. So he ended up just waiting there, not capturing for his team, not defending, just waiting for someone to come help and try to get a clever pinch. So yeah, the kind of mistakes you don't see SK do very often, and XO, they definitely capitalized on it. So well played to them. They actually take the lead, or do they actually? I think they do, right? I'm not a... Yeah, I think they do. Yeah. So good stuff from XO, honestly. Very, very impressive. Not easy to be in the situation where they are right now, and they're doing a really solid job.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it, because Semantic must have been looking at his watch thinking, like, what's going on? Where are you guys? Because considering the circumstances, I think one of the players was pushing up onto their zone instead, and I don't think they were like in sync, or like maybe the small talk went a little bit out of hand going for the left side. And you saw as well, Semantic was just pushing back and forth on the structure in that zone, just hoping that YDE will eventually, like, you know, make a mistake and push up onto him. And then that way he'll get the advantage in terms of, well, you know, first shot advantage. But he didn't. YDE just stood there. And you're right, though. He's banking that percentage. He has zero reason to move out of that zone. He had zero reason to, you know, push up or anything like that. The only time he is going to, you know, reflect him and try and move around the zone is when Semantic actually pushes. But I suppose you're right there. Semantic was hoping either he would push by accident or makes the first move, or hope one of his teammates would actually give him a hand. He got neither, which was, you know, it did suck a little bit here. So EXO does have the advantage in this set. I suppose you could technically save a series, but let's see how SK will respond to this. As YDE, Speak of the Devil, has already taken down Sky from the get-go, looking to pull back into that left lane, and he does. He may even be able to recover, but Semantic, oh, look at that, he's after blood. After what happened earlier, does definitely want to try and clean him up if he can, but has almost fully recovered. Semantic does inflict a little bit more damage onto him as there's a fight in that right zone between Jetton and Yoshi. Yoshi trying to stay up as much as he can, with EXO having a 10% advantage going into his second game.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent start from EXO, but SK once again, they've captured almost half of the top right zone. That's definitely not that bad either, as they still have quite a bit to capture on their own side. So they technically do have the lead, just a matter of a couple of seconds to catch up. Semantic is low HP, but still alive. Yoshi was a nice kill. He picks up the kill onto Semantic as well. YD and Cursed pinch out Skyrix, and that is big because when Yoshi is in the zone, and look at the time it's going to take for any backup to arrive as Cursed picks up Jetton, and Semantic is just not really in a position to get them out of position. EXO, they might run away with this one.
They certainly could. Yoshi left on 28 HP. He overstayed his welcome and still was able to stay alive. Great stuff from him as Jetton looking to also contribute more damage to YDE, but it was way, way too weak. Semantic does come in and Cursed saves YDE's life there, and Sky's looking for the second frag coming in, but doesn't actually be able to quite get him as YDE does manage to get away, and EXO are now up 2-1 in the series against SK.
That is absolutely huge. Man, SK, like, they're not looking quite as good as usual, to be honest. Like, we've seen some really impressive stuff in this season and just in the last couple of months. But, man, they seem to be genuinely struggling right now. And the reason is not that they're having a day off, it's just EXO is playing really solid and is pushing their limits. Could be a bit of a combination of both, to be completely honest. But with the performances that SK has had in Brawl Esports 2021, that's pretty much what you need to take down SK. And things are lining up here for EXO to certainly do so. They only need one set. They have 2 sets to play with. They win one of the 2, and this is over. They pick up the win, and they move on to the grand finals to face Clash. It's definitely possible at this point.
Yeah, and considering SK haven't got their best game mode in these next couple of sets either, that just makes matters even worse now. So they have to further improvise in these next couple of sets. It's not like they can lose one now, as EXO could at some point be on match point, and that's where the pressure will be on for SK. As terms of kill count, I felt like EXO actually, you know, had a few more kills, but I suppose SK were trading out quite a lot. EXO with 10,000 more damage. And you see that they just execute a lot of their pushes so well. And I think there was just a lot more support on the side of EXO. SK, there was the odd occasion where some of the players were just way too spread out to even, you know, establish some kind of dominance or support for each other. And, you know, it happened on multiple occasions. So again, EXO are exploiting this more than anything, and just look forward to see what's going to happen in this 4th set, if SK are going to maybe continue to struggle or can at least tie things up to take us to a 5th set.
Yeah, man, this could be huge. I'm not so sure what the next map and game mode was. I believe the last one was Heist. I
think so,
don't think I remember which one is number 4, so we'll check that out soon enough. Worst case scenario, we'll just, you know, kind of find out in game with you guys. I believe we are gonna get that information now, and oh no.
Your favorite.
They did it again, Lethal.
Oh no. Yeah, it's gonna be Yeah, we've seen this a few times, haven't we, in our time over the last 5 or 6 weeks, but SK now going to have to try and tie this series up on Purple Paradise. And even then, you know, if they do, it's going to be Snake to Salt for a bit of heist. It's going to be a real struggle here. I'm not sure what your opinion is on this matchup, Teddy, but it's going to be interesting to say the least.
It's gonna be a bit of a crazy story, to be completely honest. Like, I don't know what to think, man, because yeah, this is gonna be interesting for sure. Well, at least we got close to a mirror matchup. We do have the Bell making the difference on SK, and the kills making the difference on XO, as they have a 5-star lead early on. This is really big for them. This is their chance. Now, it does potentially like delegitimize their win just a little bit, which is a bit sad, to be honest. But you know, so far so good for them. They have a 7-0 lead, and they just managed to keep SK low HP non-stop. SK is pushing up, is getting a bit more control. But they need to actually pick up some kills now before it's too late.
Yeah, SK still haven't got 1 kill yet, and so hitting the halfway mark. Sky having to pull back from his left lane, getting out damaged here as well, and just continuing on with that kill lead. 9 stars to 0, as Jetton and Semantic still looking to push that right side, especially with that Piper as well, to do a bit of damage from that range. Sky with the belt as well, looking to continue on pushing on that left lane. But the pull comes in. Semantic does take down YDE, so at least they've got the first kill on the board to give him a little bit of leadway here. They haven't got the map possession anymore, but you know, let's be honest, this is a very plain map here, Teddy. And now XO have been pushed all the way back against the wall, as Kirsten YDE just trying to push Sky back, which they have done, and get the kill in the process. A big kill on Semantic would be huge to, you know, add to their start collection, as now Jet and Sky have rejoined the group with the rest of the members of SK. But I'm not too sure if AP can even do it here. Curse just needs to be careful as one gets pulled. Samantha gets pulled there, as Yoshi now looking to dish the dirt onto Sky, and actually does take him down. That's going to be a team wipe here. Samantha just rejoined again, but it's just too little too late. 18 stars to 6 in favor of XO. And believe it or not, I didn't think I'd say this, but XO are on match point against SK.
Man, I'm honestly a bit heartbroken to have some Purple Paradise right now. Out of you know all of the matches, this is a bit of the odd moment to have it, because you know so much is on the line. But as you rightly said, I mean, XO they did pick up 2 sets before that. You know what I mean? So it's not like they don't deserve to be in this current position. They are at match point, and one more win would knock SK out and pull XO right up to the grand finals, potentially coming in as a favorite as well against Clash, because they are in a very similar place than Clash, although Clash has been winning a bit more. It's not that far off, and you know, taking down SK is something that Clash has been struggling with quite a lot. So this could be huge. This could be absolutely massive here for XO, but they just need that one more game. And if we know anything about SK, is that they're just, you know, man, their veins are like so ice, so cold-blooded, man. They just don't get any emotions involved. They play like absolute robots, but like robots from like the future, not our kind of robots, like, you know, the very high-tech ones that are just unbelievably fast and can just think at like crazy AIs. Well, that's SK. And we've seen them get some crazy comebacks in the past. Maybe not as much lately, because they don't need comebacks ever if you never lose, you know what I mean? But they will need one now, that's for sure. Let's move on here to match point in favor of XOFA. They had a really strong game previously. We have the mirror matchup now, so no advantage in comms whatsoever, and it's going to be Semantic to pick up the first kill. Trade is there, but no one has the blue star so far. Jedden is going to fall. Semantic low HP. YD picks up the kill as well. And look at that, the peep heading the way of Skyrix. That's going to be another one. XO leading by 8 early on.
Oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. I've been saying about Purple Paradise, this is where good teams come to die here. SK, it could happen to them, but still early days as of yet. 5 stars behind. EXO looking pretty damn good, but YDE might get caught here, looking to try and back away as much as he can. He's only on 142 HP. The cleanup does come in for Semantic with a 3-star lead now. Still a little bit and still a bit of leadway for them as Curse pushed up pretty heavily on that right lane to try and inflict a little bit of damage onto Jeton and Semantic, but at the same time, Cursed, she's taking down Sky. There's only 55 seconds left, and Sky's dived in straight away just in case they got a little bit outnumbered. But lucky for them, EXO were actually still holding back their passive structured setup and just waiting to see when SK were going to push.
Yeah, it is still a pretty sizable difference, but SK, if they manage to get the right kills at the right time, they could come back. They still have a lot of time to work with as well. Yashi at 1500 HP, YD is low as well, but Curse is just pushing them to max range, because if they overpeak, look at that, Semantic gonna get tagged, but Curse gets double tapped as Jeton takes him down. 3-star difference. The Peep takes down Curse, and now suddenly it's only a single star, 1 kill from SK, and they're back into this game. But look at the Peep coming through. We're gonna be looking for some value. Jeton falls, 4-star difference. Can they find the kills here? They won't. It's XO to take the win as they take down SK Gaming 3-1 in sets in what has been quite an eventful match. But EXO come up on top and they just delete the Titans of the region, the team that has been winning so consistently across the board in any game mode. They just remove them from the competition. EXO are going to the grand finals. They'll be facing Clash to play for up to $10,000 for that first place.
I always say, Teddy, every time, good teams go to die on this map, SK have now followed the trend, are going to continue with all the other teams who've lost on this map. It's just absolute madness. Funny, when we looked at the maps emoji, you pointed it out, and I was just like, yeah, it really could go either way. Unless the fundamentals and mechanics from one of the teams is that big, then not really too sure. And you said it before, it's a mirror matchup as well. And, yeah, just absolutely balmy. 16 kills to the 7 of SKs, and damage as well, 56,000 more damage. EXO looked really, really good, but commiserations to SK. They will place in the top 4, and we will look at the match stats overall, and nothing in it really KD wise. Only 1 kill between both teams, and damage 60,000 more inside of EXO. So both teams, cracking series. I didn't expect EXO in the slightest to actually be able to topple SK by this much, but congratulations to EXO. We'll see them in the grand finals against AC Milan's Clash in a little bit.
Yeah, we have our grand finals announced. You can see them right here. Maybe a bit of a reminder of how the playoffs went. Well, Totem took down Navi early on, a sweep. Big surprise as well, as they did lose against Navi a couple of days before that. Clash sweeping 0 on Spain, no big surprise there. And obviously Clash taking down Reply Totem a couple of hours ago to move on to the grand finals. SK versus Kozaki, quite easy and straightforward for SK Gaming, to be completely honest. Same for EXO versus Big, although Big was maybe a little bit more challenging. It wasn't the biggest challenge for sure, but today, EXO taking down SK is quite an upset here, 3-1, to secure their spot in the grand finals. With that being said, guys, we got one more match to go this season. That is going to be the grand finals, guys. $10,000 prize pool on the line for that first place. Guys, let's take a quick break. Let's show you guys some highlights and a bit of a surprise as well.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gamestars League Season 1. This is the International Finals. We've gone from 32 teams all the way down to 2 teams between AC Milan's Clash and EXO. I've seen a lot of you people supporting EXO in the chat, and why should you not really? Because Clash are one of the biggest teams, of course, in the EU and MENA region, and this is going to be a fantastic matchup to go into. Joined by Teddy again, as always, the analytical mastermind along me here, going to help me cast me through this grand final. Is going to be another best of 5 once again, and I must say I'm extremely excited to see the outcome between these two teams. Should be a right banger.
Yeah, to be completely honest, looking at the bracket, I expected Clash to go to the grand final. EXO, honestly, not quite as much. I was expecting SK to take that win and have El Clasico for our grand finals, right? But it's not going to be the case. EXO take their spot, and rightly so, as we are going to be seeing Guille, Ikeos, and Lena for Clash facing Curse, Yoshi, and YDE. So, yeah, 2 teams that maybe don't have quite as strong of a history as SK has with AC Milan Clash, but nevertheless, they are in that top 3, both of them, and they are, pretty much fighting for that second spot in the region. So this is going to be really big, especially with the monthly finals coming up next week. To give us a bit of an estimation of where those guys are at and what we can expect, we can see Curse that does love his gene quite a bit here, 26 times picked. And interestingly enough, a lot of variety from Clash, because some of the brawlers we see here, they haven't played a lot since the group stage. Like BB and Frank, they played them a lot in the group stage, and later on, really not quite as much. And yet there are some of their top picks. So very versatile brawler-wise, a lot of stuff available. EXO, they are a team that is a bit more slow-paced. They have some very specific roles as well in the team. Yoshi's a bit like the pop-off guy, like he just pops off to new heights every other day. Cursed is a bit more inconsistent, but on a good day, he's gonna be extremely deadly as well. And YDE is just a consistent guy that always performs, but never gets he's always around the same range of how good he is. Whereas Clash, they're like 3 guys that can absolutely pop off and go crazy, but maybe a bit less tactical overall. Our maps, guys. Backward Ball for Brawl Ball Triumvirate for Hot Zone, Red Herring in Jam Grab. And if it comes to it for set 4 and 5, we'll have Heist on Save Zone and Bounty played on Snake Prairie.
Yeah, not on Purple Paradise. So I think EXO won't be too pleased about that. They love a bit of Purple Paradise, especially after that last game. We're not going to see it. That will be the final game of Bounty on Snake. We'll see what happens later on. But yeah, I'm very excited for this matchup. I want to see what Clash can do here. I'm sure they were watching that matchup between SK and EXO earlier on, so they know what we're going to have to deal with here. But what's more interesting is the bans. Let's see exactly what bans are going to be coming out here for both these teams. So the Stu and the Poco, that's interesting to say the least. Stu, pretty standard. Poco, we've seen it a couple of times on EXO in the past, not in too much recently, but especially in the past back in the group stages as well. But look forward to see what comps we're going to see, what compositions we're going to witness throughout the course of the series.
Yeah, I mean, both teams going for their standard bans pretty much for the last couple of weeks. Stu every single time for Clash, EXO every single time going for the Poco. So nothing too surprising here. They just want to play their own game and not really try to adapt too much to each other. And that's perfectly understandable. With one ban, you don't really want to be changing everything around for your team. They're just a bit too risky, even for that prize pool. Because yeah, guys, there's $10,000 on the line for that first place. That is a lot of money, so I can guarantee those guys, they are going to be fighting as if their lives were at stake. Yeah, if we had to go for a bit of a prediction, what are your expectations coming into this match, Lethal?
That's a good one, mate. I have no idea. It's going to be so difficult because, especially with the map pool as well, like I would probably say Clash, but because it's more based on improvisation through Clash, it's very difficult to say because EXO, their fundamentals and mechanics are looking really strong right now. And, not saying it was better than SK's at all, not saying that in the slightest. It was just, very situational when they were playing against SK earlier on. But I'm still going to say Clash is going to take this series, but it's probably going to be maybe just as close, if not closer. Maybe like a 3-2, maybe even a 3-1. But Clash still looked really good earlier on in their semi-final matchup. But still, XO, though, it's still a force to be reckoned with. It's very difficult to say exactly how things will pan out. And obviously, like I said before, with the map pool, Clash, it could dwindle them a little bit in terms of how they'd like to play on some of these matchups. So we'll see how it goes, but I do reckon it's go to at least set 4 or 5, but probably in favor of Clash.
All right, interesting. I mean, I do feel like it's kind of the most straightforward like reasoning as well. You know what I mean? Like I think that I can't really disagree. If I had to go for prediction, I would maybe go a bit bolder and go for EXO. Just because of their impressive performance against SK, and overall they have had some good performances lately against Clash as well. So I would just say a slight favor going their way, but honestly could absolutely go either way. It's that close between those teams, and I'd love to go all the way to our 5th set. We are getting started with our grand finals, $10K on the line here between AQM and XOFA.
I've probably taken the safer route and said Clash, but we'll see how things will pan out. This first set is going to be a true indicator of what to maybe expect throughout the entire course of this series. Gil just puts onto that left lane, but look at this, YD is so weak. The trade does come out as Chaos actually finishes off YD in the end. But Yoshi pulling all the way back, trying to stop that ball from going any further, and back into the corner as Curse takes down Lanai, and Chaos also gets a kill of his own. YD looking to maybe push in that left lane to support Curse if he can, but Curse just using that range just to keep Gil at bay, whilst Chaos and now Lanai is still pushing towards that right side. So a lot of movement speed coming out from Clash to try and throw them off a little bit. Chaos does take down one. YDE does get taken down as well. And Curse is the last member left standing, looking to try and get that trade, which he does, but also doesn't get taken down in the process, as the range is just way too far for Chaos to even reach here. So looking pretty good so far. EXO getting another kill to their name. Yoshi's been just looking fantastic, not just in this series, but just all day long and over the course of the week leading up to this grand final. So pretty even so far.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of a stalemate as both teams are still looking to have as many supers as possible to just find as much value as possible. But Lana should be getting his soon enough. That could be the gene pool that they need. But look at that. Yoshi is going to just take him out of the picture. And now EXO looking to push forward and find some more control. Dash in from Guille. Nice jump from YDE. But Guille, oh my god, almost scores that one. But it's not going to happen just yet here, as IKEOS does get to pull onto Curse to secure that kill.
That's a good kill from him. Lanai on that left lane, and he's going to find out. Not only Yoshi and YD is on that right lane, but Curse is pushing out the left lane on spawn. 10 seconds left here, but we'll see what happens in overtime, as one of the players, YD, has been taken down. Curse gets to trade on Chaos, and Yoshi could take him down here as well. It was great stuff from him. And Lanai almost got cleaned up on 188 or 168 HP. Has to pull all the way back, gets the ball back out of the corner. But this is where we're going to see if EXO can abuse that positional advantage. But as I'm saying that, no, Clash is already pushing all the way up, but YD takes down Gil in the process, whilst YD looking to push on that ball up. There's only 2 players left standing. So weak here, as EXO are almost able to score that. Still only 1 player left. They were trying to pass the ball onto Curse, but just too little too late here. But still a little bit of time left with 25 seconds remaining. Curse trying to do a little bit of damage before he was taken down, as Chaos does finish him off with 20 seconds left remaining.
Yeah, this was their chance. Game was the dash. Oh my god, he doesn't have time to shoot the ball in. And 12 seconds left. We might be looking at a draw, but also a final push in favor of XOFA. Can they get a shot on? 3 seconds left. Yoshi goes for the pass to Curse. It's not gonna go in. I think that was not an intentional pass as much as a body block there. But it is not gonna work out. This was their chance, and it is gonna end up with a draw. And, you know, honestly, against a Clash, I feel like it's a bit of a shame for EXO not to be able to take that Brawl Ball set, Brawl Ball game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
EXO, they're not bad at Brawl Ball, but Clash are just so strong in this game mode. And I feel like they kind of had to take this one, to be completely honest. Like, it would have been a nice way to open things up and just give them a bit of an early lead, some momentum. And Clash, they aren't quite as good at like other teams to deal with momentum. So it would have been a really strong way to kick things off. But also a strong defense from Clash, although I feel like it was maybe a little bit more on the luckier side of things, and some mistakes from EXO, the body block, not really ideal. Earlier as well, in the first push in overtime, the charge shot from EXO that goes straight into a player. I feel like they could have kind of like made that work out better as well. But yeah, it didn't. So good for AQM. They will make it work and tie things up, which in my opinion is in their advantage because they are in general just better on this game mode. They should be able to just have a bit of just a bit of an advantage overall and be just that much comfortable in this set. But we are ready to roll as Guille goes in aggressively. Doesn't quite want to go all the way to overtime once more, but he is going to go down. Cursed will be traded out by Lena. Did Lena pick up a double kill there? I think he did, because it's a 2 versus 1 here. The respawns are coming true, which should be slowing the push from AQM, but the positioning is really aggressive on the side of the Spanish.
Yeah, both teams have made a large amount of minor mistakes, but luckily for both teams, neither of them have actually been exploited. As Yoshi takes down the Knight in that engagement, and I think we see there as well, YDE just trying to recover in his goal as Chaos does try and get a sneaky shot in, but it's not going to happen. Good pass there from Yoshi before he was taken down, just to get the ball away to give himself enough time on the respawn. But look at that, YDE managed to stop it on the respawn, and that's why that pass earlier on from Yoshi was so important. As Lanai does take on YDE, and they do have numbers advantage, but it also changes the fact that they could have scored that a couple of times, and lucky for them, it was great defense from XO as YDE trying to pull back a little bit in that left lane. Curse trying to inflict a little bit of damage onto Gil and also onto Chaos as Yoshi trying to make his way into right lane and push back up, but he just can't at this moment in time. Cursed looking to inflict a little bit more damage onto Chaos. Chaos just abusing that structure in the middle, and Gil's trying to give him a hand here. Chaos, good kill onto YDE. Lanai trying to push on up, but Yoshi is going to stop him from having any kind of effect there, and Chaos also gets cleaned up. So there's his numbers again, but no objective.
Yeah, the push moving forward here as EXO have a solid shot at making something happen, but Curse is low HP, he's gonna get taken out. YDE not in the best situation either. Yoshi could maybe hit them pull, but the ball doesn't quite go where he planned, and now Guille is pushing up, he's going for it, he wants that kill onto Curse, will pick it up as well. And AQM in a position to maybe make something happen right before overtime kicks in.
Certainly couldn't really be too much of a surprise here. Lanai looking to push on up. He's trying to pass it to YDE and then get the first attack. Inflict a little bit of damage, not a huge amount here. YDE is still looking to hover around and dilly-dally on that left crate just to see what Lanai's going to do from there onwards. But so far it will be another overtime as Gil is going to push the ball onto EXO's side just to keep a little bit of map presence on the board. And Lanai's actually pushed all the way up here. The ball comes out and Yoshi takes down Gil here. He's going to actually dribble it in and actually does manage to, as there wasn't enough DPS on the goal line. So good start from Clash. A little bit shaky beforehand, but was able to exploit some of the mistakes finally from EXO. So good start from Clash.
Yeah, I think that strategically we can clearly see that EXO has an advantage, and they've been getting a lot of control and winning a lot of team fights, having some really solid executions here and there. But Clash, they're just really strong individually, able to just win so many 1v1s, find so many openings, and just make it a bit of a nightmare for EXO, because I guess the advantage with a team like Clash is that because they get so many weird and crazy openings, any like strategical positions from EXO, it's gonna be there, like they have a game plan, and then suddenly it's like, okay, how do we do this plan if we lost this player that is not supposed to be going down at that moment? And that's kind of making things a bit more complicated, isn't it? Whereas EXO, they can counter Clash by just not giving them as many opportunities, playing more as a team, which is where they will have the advantage, not letting them pop off, right? But Clash, it does seem like the raw mechanical skill is enough so far to give them a little bit of an edge, as in that second game they're able to pick it up and take the lead in this match. We'll see if they're able to close out the whole set or if EXO are looking to tying things up.
Yeah, EXO still did pretty well. The defense was still extremely strong, but you know, the things Clash had to do in order to make just one goal happen was just ridiculous. It had to be a very strong attack and a couple of team wipes, and EXO was still hovering across the board, just doing so much damage here, there, and everywhere, and it was very, very difficult. Yoshi, a very aggressive push to start with, overextending over towards the goal line of Clash. But it definitely made a big difference here, as Yoshi just looking to see if he can use that movement speed to bait Gil to do some attacks which he could maybe miss. Curse takes down Lanai, so that's one member down. Will he be able to dribble it in? He's going to make the attempt here and actually does succeed, which is a little bit of a surprise there. Yoshi does manage to take down one of the players towards the end as well. EXO will get the first goal of this second game, and YD already gets the first kill in this engagement. He's looking to go for another. Chaos does take him down, but Curse takes down Lanai in the process. So EXO already on to a very good start.
All right, let's see how this keeps going. Yoshi gonna get sniped off by Lanai. Honestly, comp-wise, I would give a bit of an advantage to EXO, especially since Max is gonna be so nice to counter the Sprout. But we do have a bit of a push coming through in favor of Clash. A missed shot from Lanai is gonna cost him a lot of HP. Does hit the snipe ultimately, but will go down. Now YD versus Gie. Maybe not a fight that he can win. YD, oh, a bit of a miscommunication, and the synergy maybe not working out perfect there, but YD with the jump in doesn't get as much damage as he was hoping for, I think. Nice slow from Gie should be, nope, not enough to take Yoshi out just yet. The poison will, however, as Curse is the last player remaining for EXO, and he's finding some decent value here and there, but EXO, they, I think, will have to defend here. Yup, as Clash pick up the kill on YD as well. Enough of an opening to push forward and get something going here. 15 seconds left. Clash, they need to score or this game is going to EXO, and we're all tied up. Jump in from Gia, so much damage. YD is gonna corner up the ball. He does manage to poison down Lana. Lana is gonna fall. No, he survived with 10 HP, but there's just no more time. And that means that EXO, they win that game, tie things up 1-1 in our first set. And the first set alone is already going all the way. Looking forward to this decider game. I'm hoping this match just keeps being, you know, on this tone.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I just feel like the Sprout pick as well, we've seen it used quite a lot in Brawl Ball, no matter which map it is, and it definitely changes the tempo massively. We see a lot less aggression, but don't get me wrong, Chaos played really well with the Sprout nonetheless. Good aim, good communication. You can see he has good projectile movement as well. The only problem was just the fact that, you know, he can't push in as aggressively with the rest of his team. He's probably hoping to try and keep him on spawn on certain occasions when they're on their later half on the side of the map, but you know, we didn't really see too much of that. You can see that they had to pull back a lot and wait for, you know, a strong indicator to happen. Like, you know, not just numbers advantage, but with the Sprout, you just can't push in as quick as you would like to. And with, you know, like I said before, it's not just one time we've seen it. We've seen it on numerous different occasions. I'll be interested to see if he sticks, and he actually hasn't stuck. It's actually going to be a mirror match. So the Sprout does go out. He's probably realised that, yeah, you know, in terms of the tempo and the pace of the game, it does slow things down massively. And, you know, we can understand this. So, you know, mirror matchup, no excuses here. We'll see who's going to come out on top in this set. Of course, if it doesn't go to a tied game. And now we're going to find out what EXO can do. It can continue to pile on the pressure. And Yoshi does get that first kill on the board.
Yeah, so far, EXO with a bit of an advantage are able to get some better positioning as well. Some nice poison coming through as well from YDE as Guy and Lana try to find an opening on the right-hand side, but the jump in from Guy, he did have the movement speed. Lana gonna go for the dash. Lana with the shot, it's gonna go in. And that's just the kind of plays that we expect to see from Lana at this point. Clash taking the lead and now have a solid shot at just taking that set.
Yeah, Lannan looking very good here, and Chaos is just with him on that left lane. Still done a fair amount of damage here. YD is pretty weak, and Lannan, you can see, he is tempted to pile on the pressure. But EXO are the ones who actually push into the middle to see if they can do anything else here. Chaos has taken a fair amount of damage, but he's actually taken down YD in the process, as Gil's still looking to put on more pressure onto Cursor. Look at this, and Lannan actually pushes all the way in and actually manages to score that. Great opening and good exploitation there for Lannan, and there we have it. Clash take the first set. A lot more convincing for what we saw in the previous 3 games.
Yeah, that's for sure. But you know that EXO are challenging them a lot when you need that Lannan pop-off to make the difference, which was really the reason why this last game, went their way. I mean, there was some better teamwork as well, I think, from Clash, was a bit more like build-ups, which is not something that Clash does the best. So them, making a difference through that is an impressive change. But, those moments like that game where EXO had multiple chances to score and just choked a couple of times in a row, those are going to be biting them, right? Because now they're starting to think, yeah, if we won that one, we would have taken the set, the best game mode for AQM, and that would have been just, a terrific start. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be the case. So yeah, they're gonna have to be a bit more careful now, EXO, because it can go quite quickly. It is a slippery slope versus Clash that just feed off that momentum.
Oh, even the stats as well. Like, EXO are going to feel like they have a chance and still have plenty of chances here going into this series, because Clash, they've given them some light at the end of the tunnel. But at the same time, they could be given a false hope here. But EXO, 9 more kills in favour, and they did have 48,000 more damage. But doesn't matter though, all about that objective execution and efficiency, as Clash did manage to do pretty well on that last game. It was literally night and day in comparison to the first couple. But we saw SK do that earlier, so it's nice to see Clash come back with quite a convincing game. And, hopefully we'll see more from that in set number 2. But how's EXO going to retaliate this after that first set? It'll be, I think it could be an interesting one, especially on this map, Teddy. It's been, quite chaotic, and there's a lot of mayhem, to say the least. You could say, inverted quotes, strategic aggression in some areas, but this is definitely going to be a close one between both these teams.
Yeah, I think that, on paper, if Clash are able to kind of force 1v1s on each lane, they should have a big advantage to that regard. But if EXO are able to bring something a bit more original on the table, have some solid teamwork here and there, that could be enough to make the difference. Not entirely sure what it's gonna look like, but I don't know. I feel like on paper, Clash is gonna be slightly favored on this one. We'll find out though, as we are ready to hop in. We have pretty similar comp. I think that Sprout and Tara are the difference makers here. Lannan will fall. It isn't too much of a difference score-wise right now, as EXO does have a very slight lead, but it was Lannan getting into the zone that will be, well, actually not turning around just yet. As so far, it is very, very close, very even between both teams.
Certainly is indeed. As now we're going to see a lot more of some chaotic aggression into the middle of the map, as the 9 had to push all the way back on 271 HP, but does survive and takes down YDE, and needs to be careful with the respawn, because YDE is looking to try and retaliate after that last engagement. Even though he doesn't take him down, he's inflicted enough to back him away from the zone, as Clash is still up only by a couple of percent, so we need to be really careful as Curse gets another kill for himself, and Chaos takes down YDE, so that's his Amber gone. We see a lot of Amber on this map, we see it quite often, like 7 or 8 times out of 10, which is understandable, and Gil's pushing all the way in a 1v3, does get cleaned up by Curse. Chaos takes down YDE again, and the 9 just trying to be a little bit of a nuisance on that left lane, with Lannan also taking down Kirsties. So percentile-wise, still up by just over 10%, but looking pretty good here for Clash.
Yeah, they really got back into that game as they were able to get more control over a second zone, and now they are going to be fighting that top one that EXO just wants to keep that badly. Yashi is going to jump in, but Up close, Sprout versus Amber, not exactly the matchup you want to be in. As he's gonna go down, Guy misses his pull. So Cursed and Yoshi can just deal with him and try to go back for some more center control. A nice solo HP, but he just doesn't want to go down, does he? Well, the snipe from Cursed will put an end to his journey in that middle area, but he's just going to be back in a second, and that's where this map gets so complicated. It's a middle area. Once you got it, you have such a big advantage. You can help the other lanes, and it's just so hard to keep. It's absolutely insane, and look at that clash. They should be able to take this game, although Curse might get surprised a little bit by Guille here. I don't think that EXO are in a position good enough to come back. Yup, that is going to be Clash picking up the win here as, yeah, they're just able to seal the deal.
Yeah, I'm just a bit surprised here because it's very hectic, that map, and it's very difficult to take control no matter how highly skilled you are on the ladder as a team, and it's very, very difficult. And that's probably one of the most convincing games we've seen, apart from the last game on set number 1 on Brawl Balls. So, a little bit of a surprise there from Clash. Not really too sure what happened with EXO. Just a little bit more unorganized and not really well timed with their attacks as much as they did in the previous matchup, which is a little bit of a shame. And also with the Sprout pick again, is that also been maybe they're trying to get like an early lead, or maybe try and get some of the map control and use the range of the Sprout? Not really too sure from there. I'm interested to see if they do change that comp once again, because I do feel like they're only slightly unfavored, only slightly, not by like a huge amount where it will cause such a huge deficit by any means. But Clash just look to be better fundamentally and mechanically, just overall, just nothing really too much to dissect, apart from the fact that a lot of engagements they did literally just lose, and Clash had a lot more patience, a lot better game sense individually. We saw YD lose a lot of fights in mid against, I think it was Chaos at the time, losing his Amber, most of the time in a lot of those engagements was a little bit of a shame. But didn't really see too much teamwork or numbers advantage from EXO, and they couldn't really get it anyway, just overall. So we'll see if EXO can respond in a better way this time round in comparison. There was a lot of mistakes, but you can see the changes already come in. It's going to be a mirror match as they have replaced that Sprout for Vatara, and we'll see what they can do here, as they've got no excuse now in this mirror matchup, and already Yoshi to still continue on to hold into the middle, and Cursed is just right by his side.
Yeah, I think a big difference as well in those maps is like, I don't think EXO expected, thought that Sprout was like the meta here, but I think they did think that it could be a bit of an outpick to bring and try to surprise Clash with. And the difference was, a competitive map in the same situation is in the competitive map, no matter what they bring, they've tried it at some point, Unless it's something like absolutely wild that only works with the surprise effect. They have played it before in scrims, they've played it before in tournaments, all that kind of stuff. Here it's not the case, so maybe they thought they had a nice idea with the Sprout, but they never probably tried it before, except maybe in like Power League, because they're not scrimming those maps.
That's true indeed, as now EXO has a decentish lead, you could say, but Clash have now been able to respond a lot better using that range from the Amber on that bottom zone. Chaos is doing so much work and inflicting so much damage here. Yoshi trying to make something happen in this right lane, but is going to be in a really bad spot. Is going to get not just outnumbered, but pinched here as YD just take down Gil and Chaos takes down Cursed. Cursed gets to trade before he was taken down, and Clash are still up by 7%. And Yoshi still trying to hold that middle zone, but the 9 has managed to take him out as Yoshi's has been finished off. Cursed trying to push up onto that north side with YDE. Does take out the other Shadow in the end, but still need to recover. So Clash still looking pretty good with a 12% advantage. Maybe have to increase that if they can, but Yoshi still holding to the middle pretty well here. And YD and Curse just trying to recover until the 9 is actually pushed up into the middle, and Yoshi is going to put a little bit of pressure onto this bottom zone, taking down one, but got traded off straight afterwards as YDE almost getting taken down, but left on 214 HP.
Yeah, YD playing really well off the range there. Despite being at 200 HP, he's gonna put him low HP enough that they can pick up the kill, and that's huge because look at this. EXO, they're gonna take back the lead, and YD is just ready to follow up on that and jump on the right side, but there's a 3-man stack from Clash over there, which is gonna make things dangerous. Curse going for the jump and the double pull as well. Oh my god, he picks up both kills. And EXO, I think they might run away with this one.
It certainly could indeed. That was a huge risk, and they managed to pull it off there. Cursed has taken down another player. Chaos is not the last man left standing, but definitely outnumbered on that south side, especially on that zone. And what a comeback here from XO. Definitely going to swing the momentum in their favour, knowing that there's also Clash do make some of these little mistakes here and there, which they're finally able to exploit. That comp change, I think, did make a big difference, but I do feel like it wasn't only the comp, but I think they felt a lot more confident with the comp. So I think that's why they were happy with able to continue putting the pressure on them, actually be able to lay down the law a lot better than they did before. Because that middle control, they barely had it last game, you know. Don't get me wrong, like YD had a lot more support from Yoshi this time around to be able to actually control that, but that was much, much better. And during that last minute, it was basically the XO show. It was just much better from what we've seen in that previous game.
Yeah, it was a crazy, crazy game, and now, you know, it's going to be set points. Whoever wins this game takes this set, and potentially, you know, Clash, they can double down on their lead, go 2-0 in sets, get closer and closer to the finish line. And for XO, I mean, they can tie things up. That would be absolutely massive for them as well. So no matter what, a very important set here, and just that one game is going to turn things around for either team. So yeah, it's a lot to process, right? Like Clash, they could just really start running away with this one and get so close from taking this entire season with them, and secure that first place. Let's see if they can capitalize on that position. Well, Lena is going to fall early on to Yoshi. Chaos is able to find a trade on his lane, which is going to be setting a bit of the pace for this game. The jump in from Curse. Well, he's going to get melted down as soon as he lands, although Akils is quite low HP, and Yoshi picks up a nice trade in the middle.
Yoshi doing a great job with that bell here, just doing so much work and just been a real pain in the backside. Saying that though, Chaos has taken down Curse, so this could be an opportunity for them to push Yoshi back, which he has done, don't get me wrong, as now he's going to come up on the respawn to do some damage onto the 9. Does hit all 3 shots, even though it's quite close range. Very good stuff from Yoshi. YD takes one out as well, and so does Curse, so that's going to be a team wipe for XO. And Clash massively on the back foot. Look at the percentile difference here, Teddy. 30% on a map like this, that is absolutely huge. And Gil just trying to dance there and try and dodge some of the shots from Yoshi, but it's not going to happen. There's now 40% difference as Gil trying to just make something happen, any kind of magic if he can. Yoshi actually takes him down. The 9 gets to trade, but you know, we're gonna have to have some miracle from Clash. Yoshi still trying to put Chaos at bay, trying to push him back from that middle zone. Does take a lot of damage in the process, but at least he gets to trade.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the strat is here from XO, because they seem to be only just defending one zone, which, I mean, sure, but at the same time, I do feel like with a huge lead they have, maybe they should just attack and try to close things out, or getting really close towards the end, because 13%, I mean, that's definitely something that Clash, once they get the mid and bottom zone, can still get on the top side. Look at that, they're catching up, they're only about 15% behind. Curse goes into the zone, won't be able to get a single percentage off, and this is the moment where it starts being a bit questionable, that decision from XO, because Yoshi is gonna fall, and now they could actually get some control on that top side. The pull from Curse is gonna result in a kill, but oh my, that was close.
Oh, that certainly was indeed. When they got sandwiched or pincered in, shall we say, I thought that was literally going to be it, and things are going to start getting out of hand. Still, though, XO do have that 15% advantage. They can't hang on to it forever, or maybe they could. They've only got 30 seconds left as the time waste does continue. Chaos takes down Yoshi, and look at this, Lenine looking to push on further, but Chaos is also trying to inflict some damage into that middle zone. Lenine takes down YDE, Curse gets to trade, and Yoshi jumps all the way forth down to that south zone, and is now able to increase the percentage ever so slightly. YD is going to rejoin the fray with Yoshi, does take down 1, and that's going to be it, as XO takes game number 3 and the set, so tied up once again, making it, well, you could say making Clash have to do a lot of work here in order to try and finish the series. So it's not going to be as one-sided as we expected. So Clash now all tied up, and XO, good response there. I'm not going to lie to you, Teddy, I was thinking the same. I was a little bit worried, a little bit skeptical on what the plans were during that later stage of the game, but luckily the time was on their side. But then again, they could have, of course, hit the 100% mark anyway after the lot of damage done by Yoshi and then dropping into the south zone.
Oh my, what a set here between Clash and XO. The first one was already close. This one was just as close, if not even closer. But it is XO to find closure in this set, tying things up 1-1. And now we really have a match ahead of us, don't we? Both first sets going all the way to the third, if not the fourth game, actually, for set number 1. And we are all tied up, which means we'll see at least 4 sets in this match. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see even a 5th one.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise here. Clash definitely on the back foot ever so slightly. XO really showing what they're made of, and we were a little bit worried at one stage, but now the mistakes are starting to show more and more, putting a few dents into the armor of Clash. The kills though, still 60 to the 48 of Clashes, and just looking at the damage count as well, 36,000 more damage. So the slaying power and the map presence is there, and XO are now able to finally be able to not only rectify some of their objective mistakes, but able to take advantage of some of the mistakes which Clash are creating, and then XO can exploit straight afterwards. So this is great stuff from XO. Definitely not what we assumed going into this series, and we can see why SK had such a problem with XO in that second semi-final. So we've still got a few sets left to go. It is 1-1 in the series. If you're just joining us, this is the grand final between XO and AC Milan's Clash, and it's all tied up here heading into the third set, as we're going to be waiting to see exactly which they'll be going into next. It will be red herring, will be a bit of gem grab, and yeah, this is going to definitely be a bit more carnage and mayhem, not as much as that last map, but yeah, it's going to be a lot more strategic elements going into this, and a lot more individual game sense depending on how they want to push, depending on that numbers advantage. So looking forward to this to see if XO can continue to sway things on their side, or if Clash can make a bit of a comeback here.
Yeah, honestly, so far it's a very, very even matchup. Gem grab is gonna be an interesting one, as both teams, I feel like it's not like a game mode where they particularly shine, but it's not a bad game mode either. You know what I mean? Like, it's a consistent game mode for both. It's gonna be interesting, you know, being played on a non-competitive map that they're a bit less aware of. It does have very distinct lanes, which typically favors Clash, but we saw that on Triumvirate, it's the case as well. And it didn't. XO ran victorious out of that one, although it was close and it could have gone the other way around. And technically, for a map with like distinct lanes, you can help each other quite a lot with the, you know, with the fences in the middle where you can just shoot through, which is not going to be the case quite as much on this one. But, you know, expect some pinches, which is going to be where XO are really strong. So, I don't know. I would say maybe a slight favor in favor of XO for this one, but it's really close, and it can absolutely go either way, and even all the way again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I do feel like because of the map pool, like XO can take advantage of this massively. Like Clash are the kind of team who like to have a lot of preparation for matchups here, there, and everywhere, which is understandable. Like even with the next team, but XO seems to be able to excel in these map cycles here, and we'll have to see if they can continue on. As it is set number 3, game 1. It is 1-0 in the series between both these juggernauts. Cursed in the left lane, taking a lot of damage from Le9, and Chaos having to pull all the way back here. As you can see, XO have slight control, slight map advantage here, but YD is going to jump all the way back, taking a lot of damage in the process, but will be able to recover nonetheless. Le9 actually takes some for himself. Will be able to survive, but needs to back away for the time being, as YD looking to push even further, trying to overextend if he can. He's playing this very aggressively here to try and take him down, just being a real pain in the backside, but Cursed does get cleaned up, and Gil takes down Yoshi there, and now both cars are coming in. Still takes him down though. He's trying to back away if he can, has the HP to, but it's continuing on to pile on the pressure instead, and Cursed just doing so much work here. Finally gets cleaned up, but at what cost though? But Clash are up by 10 gems to 0, and now XO need to try and find a response if they can.
Yeah, solid play from not to just get those gems in the first place, but XO are not that far behind. They do need to deny the gem, because otherwise it's going to be the countdown, and Lena is able to pick it up, but he goes down, and now Le Guy is, able to pick up those gems next. 2000 HP, but at least he's alive. And the countdown is going. YD looking for that pinch. Yoshi is quite low HP. He finds Lena. YD. Oh, he picks up the kill. He's only gonna run away with 3 gems. And look at that. Nice gadget from YD. Does mean that they don't have enough gems. And XO, they have the countdown and they got enough gems to just make sure that Clash, they need to pick up some really, really important kills now.
They certainly do indeed. Chaos is still looking to push on numbers, taking a lot of damage here. Chaos actually does take down YDE, so now the countdown still in favour of XO, but it has been restarted. And we'll be looking for that next gem momentarily. But still though, few seconds left, have been able to reset it once again. It is going to be 11-0, but who's going to get that first kill on the gems is YDE. Does survive on 96 HP. They started the countdown again, but it's just going to keep resetting if I don't get this positional advantage over XO. But now Gil's rejoined the fray. The 9 is still looking to put some pressure on, but they've taken so much damage here, Teddy, as Chaos does take down Yoshi, and have actually been able to get the countdown themselves, reset again in favour of XO. Oh, this is absolutely ridiculous, as YD looking to take down, yes, he does take down Chaos. Chaos actually gets to trade back off on him, but they need to make this push. Not entirely though, they can collect these gems and start the countdown again, but XO are looking pretty good as the 9 is looking to push up further. Only a few seconds left to try and survive if possible, and XO take the first game of set number 3. My word.
Man, this has been such a back and forth set, and so far Gem Grab not disappointing us either. Countdown after countdown, clutch after clutch, and I just want to point out, man, YDE able to pick up that kill with a supply drop and leave just exactly with 3 gems, like the... how can I say that? Like the opposite of greed, where usually you'd think like, okay, I want to pick up those gems and leave. He just knew that if he had 3 gems, or maybe even 2, that would have been enough to just get out of there and just completely steal that game away. And that's exactly what he did, man. That was absolutely nuts. Pulled it off as well with the sandbags, which is the Gene couldn't really deal with. So really, really well played by him and by XO as they take the lead in this match.
Yeah, using that kind of arithmetic with that much pressure on your side, yeah, that's great work from him. It just shows that they are very cool, calm, you know, they're perfectly fine in terms of how they want to play things out. And yeah, that really could have gone either way. Right at the very end, you just saw that there's way, I think at least 2 of the players on the side of Clash actually just took way too much damage. They wanted to push on forward, but by then it was just way too little too late. And in terms of the gem count, like you just mentioned, in terms of greed, you're right there, you know, the opposite of greed, you know, just being a little bit selfless there, which is great from him, and just being a lot more patient. And this is what XO, you know, not really known for, I'd say. You know, they have a very aggressive nature of how they like to try and force out the first mistake on their opponents, but they must have thought that was a little bit weird, considering they saw the complete opposite effect in comparison to how those players normally play this game out. But yeah, great stuff from them. That tiny little error made such a huge impact, and XO was able to walk away with it. So we'll have to see if the trend will continue. Yoshi and Curse already pushing up on the 9, and this is what I was saying. Normally they have a very over-aggressive nature, and Yoshi has just been doing so much work. He's been definitely a thorn on the back of Clash throughout, not this series, but to other teams throughout the entire course of this tournament. But Lenine does take down YDE, and the fight for map supremacy will continue, as now Lenine still actually pushing on the top side of that left lane.
Alright, Yoshi is gonna fall, but YDE has the gems. YDE has been known for the last couple of years for his Mortis. Doesn't quite pick it as much nowadays, but when he does, usually it hits pretty hard for the opposing team, as Clash are in a bit of a tricky spot here. Yoshi's gonna get walled off, though. Nice wall from Chaos. Gonna be very clutch, because otherwise Yoshi was in his face. YD not too sure what target to go for, but he's gonna go for the super. It gets another super off, but he falls to Lena. Yoshi is so low HP though, he gets a heal reset as well. Curse is there too. And now we need a bit of a pump up from XO. to take down Lana, but I don't think they're able to, and the gems are going to be safe onto Yoshi, but 7 secured by Lana right now, not exactly ideal.
No, not at all, but does get taken down there, so the countdown will start for XO. Curse is trying to help out Yoshi if he can. Does take him down. He has the numbers advantage. If they take out the player up top, that's going to be curtains for Clash. But saying that though, Lennon trying to take him out as quick as he can, so he does actually clean him up here. That is ridiculous. For XO still with the lead, trying to take down Gil if he can, and also he's just trying to do as much damage as he can and trying to keep them at bay if possible. With Yoshi still doing so much work, taking down 2. Will he actually be able to get the 3rd? Curse will finish it. And there we have it. Curse XO take set number 3, and there only 1 set left remaining for them here. Ridiculous stuff.
I think a huge factor, man, in this match so far has been Curse being really, really strong. And, you know, we expect a lot from him because of, you know, his achievements from last year, West Coast Magic, all that kind of stuff. But he had been underperforming a little bit in the last month and a half. And it's nice to see him playing like he has been today. Like, he absolutely clutched up this game, getting some huge kills with Yoshi. Whitey doing a pretty decent job as well that game. Had a bit of a rough moment here and there. But XO, they reign supreme. They take the lead, and now all they need is 1 little set to be the champions of this first season of Gamestars. So, huge stuff so far, as they were the underdogs in their semifinals, and right now they are leading in the grand finals. So huge stuff, a huge story. The question is, are they going to be able to close it out, or is it going to be Clash to push things to set number 5?
Wow, look at that as well. 10 more kills than Clash and 51,000 more damage. I've seen a bit of a lot of repetition here, Teddy. You know, XO gave Big the first set win, and then they beat them 3-1. They've done it to SK as well in the second semi-final. Surely we can't see the same thing again, but then again, it is possible. It's been, like I said, this season has been very strange in a great way. And if XO take this, that's going to be, like you mentioned already, it's going to be absolutely huge for them. And they are free agents on top of that. So, you know, any orgs watching this, definitely a very good pickup, as we're now going to be playing on Safe Zone. It will be Heist, and potentially the last set of the season, is XO are looking very, very strong. But you've got to remember, this is Clash, a very formidable foe here. Has now already done a fair amount of damage, and YDE does get the trade. Curse is going to try and support him if he can, and Chaos looking to push from that left lane on one of the weaker players of XO. And XO already done a fair amount of damage to Clash's save, but you can see there with the Colette as well from Chaos, inflict some back with a little bit of return. So see Clash looking a little bit better to start things off, but still in terms of percentile, it's very, very tight knit between both teams.
Yeah, very slim lead in favor of XO as you're able to come back, but not exactly the easiest position either. They get some more damage. Guy gonna be using that super to try to defend off Curse. Well, they're gonna defend him off as he is really low HP. The super from Chaos on the save. He picks up the kill nevertheless onto Curse, and it's only a 7% difference right now, but it's in favor of XO, although Clash, they're the ones pushing, they're the ones that should be getting the next couple of tags.
That's right, as patience is paying off, but wearing thin for XO. Still, even after that kill, they didn't really get any damage done. XO's still in the lead by 7%, but look at this. Really aggressive push. Calculated, but very aggressive. Yoshi still trying to do a little bit of damage with that Colt onto Gil, but still trying to back away. But this could really, really help, as now Curse takes down Gil. YDE pushing in that right lane, inflicting so much damage onto the save, down to 3%, and they're going to risk it and actually take down the save of Clash. And XO are on match, well, tournament point now.
What a push from XO to completely turn things around. I mean, sure, they had the lead, right? But it was like so slim, and then towards the end, they just get a couple of kills, get a crazy push, get all the damage they need to just secure the game, not have to wait, you know, all the way and play on percentages and have to defend while attacking. None of that complications. Just close it out clean and dry, as XOFA are at match point, 1 win away from, winning this whole championship, because it's not just match point, it's league point, championship point, tournament point, whatever you want to call it, but the point is for XO right now.
Certainly is indeed. It is going to be tournament points for XO. Will he be able to take it? This is going to be a huge upset nonetheless. And it wasn't the fact that, a lot of these teams like SK, Big, and all the other teams have had to go through along the lines. It hasn't been one-sided. It's been very decisive to the absolute millisecond between every single team in each game which is being played. But XO just been playing so well and improvised, by a massive margin. And no problems with Clash. Like, how are they going to react to that? They've been playing really well so far, but they've kind of going into the same issues as what SK had earlier in that second semi-final. But can they rectify it? They haven't really got much time left. Okay, they can maybe win this next game to have a little bit of breathing room. But even then, though, it's still going to be very, very odd. And they haven't even got any siege in this series either. So it's not like they're playing at a massive disadvantage. If they go to a set number 5, they should be okay, even though it's going to be bounty, I believe, on set 5. That's if we get that far. But XO, every player just doing such great work. Cursed, Yoshi's just been a formidable opponent over the entire course of the whole tournament. And they've been very, very tough. Fundamentally, they're looking so good and being so unpredictable on, numerous occasions.
Yeah, I agree, man. Match point coming up. That was a close game once again, but every single game has been close. But more have been going the way of XO. They've had just that much more closure. But those games, man, whether it's just individual games or whole sets, were all extremely close and almost tied up. We'll see here as Clash have a bit of a better push. I think Yoshi might have had some connectivity issues. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it was just camping over there on the right-hand side. Kirsten and not battling it out, but it's actually Yoshi to pick up 1 kill. YD was the second, but it is going to be traded out 2-on-1, which is going to be slightly in favor of XO, but they do lack some of that control. Cursed going to get silver, bulleted by GVGX. Cursed still alive, picks up the kill as well. It's quite big because now he can get a couple of free tags. That's like a couple thousand extra damage. Look at that beam from XOFA. The save is down to 18%. Make it 6% now, as Clash in nothing short from a miracle run to get back into this match.
That was purely from Cursed, literally in that bottom left-hand corner, wasting so much time, and the rest of his team was able to regroup and do so much damage to that save. Can XO be able to continue this? They've got only 1 minute and 5 left remaining. Only 6% difference for them between the tournament point as well, and be able to win this entire event as Lenan takes down YDE. Yoshi takes down Chaos as they're looking to push on down south as Cursed. You can see that he can literally smell it, just being able to push on all the way down, but Yoshi's trying to see if there's an opening in that right lane, but Chaos is still waiting for him to get approached by any means. Yoshi's still in that middle lane. He's actually been cleaned up here, and now the safe is slightly open, but Cursed and YD looking to push on up and try and get round it. You can see YD is desperate to push that left lane, try and find that opening, and then the weakness on 4% now. Will it be able to do it? It's so tight, and that is going to be it, as XO managed to win the entire event of the Gamestars League Season 1. Definitely one of the most underrated teams coming into this. Definitely one of the best teams as well. They improvised and managed to win the entire tournament. Congratulations to XO, to Cursed, YDE and Yoshi. Every single player played out of their skull.
Man, what a team and what a match. XOFA are your champions for Gamestars Season 1. And you can't say that they had, like, easy matchups or whatever not. They won against SK 3-1. They just won against Clash 3-1. That is so convincing. And sure, the games and sets were close, but it's all about being able to close them out. And XO were just able to do that a lot better than both SK and, of course, AQM here in the grand finals. So congratulations to them. They take first place. They secure $10,000 prize pool as well for their team. You know, Clash still was an incredible performance throughout this season, taking a proud second place. They were aiming for first place, but better second than, you know, than anywhere below that. So congratulations to them as well. Unfortunate ending to this story, but I think that, you know, in the long run they'll still be just fine with taking that second place.
Yeah, they'll be happy. You know, top two, can't really complain. I just kind of feel like for Clash, SK, Big Clan, they all went through the same process of playing against EXO, but ran into the same problems, the same trouble every single time. But no one could figure out how, you know, on earth to actually try and retaliate in any way. And EXO were just looking much better, not just on the day, but just all week long. They've been so strong. We weren't too sure about after how they played against Big Clan yesterday, but today, my goodness, it was literally night and day performance of how EXO played. You know, Yoshi, YDE, Cursed, every single one of them played absolutely out of their minds throughout the entire course for the last 5 or 6 weeks in Season 1. And yeah, it's just fantastic to see it. You know, an underdog story. You know, like you said before, it's not like they had an easy bracket or anything like that. SK, Big, Clash to actually win the entire thing. And even then, though, like leading up from Stage 1 onwards, it's been very tough, but they've made it in the end. And congratulations to them.
All right, guys, that is once again your champions XOFA. We'll have, you know, a quick summary of the bracket, all that beautiful stuff right after our highlights. Just having a bit of a look if you guys missed it or want to refresh your memory at how EXO took down AQM in the grand finals a couple of minutes ago. Once again, close games, man. So many games going all the way to the last couple of percentages or goals or whatever not. But EXO are just a bit more consistent at winning them. And that makes a huge difference because, you know, even in the hot zone, if you have like a 5% difference in damage, but yours actually destroys the safe, then yeah, you're going to be chilling, you know, you're going to be chilling. It's close, but to a certain extent, it is like measured risks, right? They know that if they go for this, they can afford to do that. And that's how it works out. It is, you know, always not as close as it looks to that extent because the teams can afford to do certain moves and take some damage, for example, because they know that they will be able to get it as in a bit of a base rush, for example. But still, man, extremely close. So far, this has been quite a journey with Gamestars. Season 2 is going to be coming up next. We still got a little while before that, but you can already register on the Gamestars website. The link should be somewhere in the description and chat as well once in a while, so make sure you guys check that out. Maybe a bit of a reminder of our bracket, Lito. Can you run us through it?
Oh, absolutely. As you can see there, the Reply Totem, you know, had a good start to believe it, but, you know, they managed to get to the semi-finals. I was just saying, you know, congratulations for every team actually just making it into the top 8. It was very tough considering the groups everyone had to go through. So commiserations to some of the teams, but, you know, you do have a second chance, like Teddy said, you know, in Season 2, but we'll talk a little bit about that later on. But first, we do have an interview. Believe it or not, it's going to be Cursed again from EXO, and we're going to see how he feels about winning the entire event. Cursed, congratulations on winning the entire Gamestars League Season 1. I don't know what I'm going to ask you anyway, but I know what you're going to say. But yeah, how do you feel? I bet you're feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's as expected taking the dub because obviously we're 3 best players in the game. So, I mean, more or less what we expected to show up and do today. So, yeah, you know, we vibing.
Did you expect to have like such a smooth ride all the way until the end? Like there were some really close games and sets, but in the end, you know, taking down SK and Clash in the same day, 3-1 each, that's pretty convincing, to be honest. Did like I know you guys expected to win, but did you expect to win like that smoothly?
I mean, obviously we expect always a good fight against teams like Clash and SK, but I feel like we're bored of being close enough to, or close to beating these teams and then lose. So I think today we just said, today we're winning, we're just going some aggro brawlers and we're running at them, and then if they want to defend, they can defend, but we're just gonna keep up the pressure and they won't keep up. So yeah.
And last question from me is to Fava, what's made you so different compared to the other teams today in comparison? Because you guys have been looking so good over the entire course of the weekend, and you've made some massive differences to your gameplay compared to some of the other teams. So what do you think you've changed in your gameplay as an entire team compared to everyone else? Is there anything like major, anything different?
I mean, to be honest, we haven't really practiced too much. Like, we took one map at a time, saw the map name, looked at the map layout, and like, here we can get away with these brawlers, and then like we can't even read ourselves, so then no one else can read us either. That was kind of the plan. We just go some random brawlers and just run at them. So turned out pretty good, I'd say.
Mate, it turned out better than pretty good. You are the champions. Congratulations once again, Cursed, and to Yoshi and to YDE as well. $10,000 richer. And I assume we're going to see you again next season. So congratulations once again.
Thanks.
I love that as well. The first thing he says is, "Yeah, we are great, aren't we? We are like the best." Like, it's like, okay, we know, we've just seen that from the results. But yeah, it's they're just pretty damn happy about it so far. They seem to be very satisfied. Everything they planned paid off, and it really showed a lot of the results. So yeah, not too bad for a weekend's work here, Teddy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, once more, guys, a round of a virtual applause for our winners. XOFA taking first place. Impressive run this season. They showed us some excellent stuff, and once again, you guys can register for season 2 of the Gamestars League on the Gamestars website. It's probably all over Gamestars social media and the description of the stream, so make sure you guys check it out. Maybe you can be one of those guys that we've been watching for the last couple of weeks. Bring your friends over, your team, and make a team and register for season number 2. With that being said, Lito, do you have any closing remarks before we put this season to an end?
What can we say? It's been 6 weeks of grueling games, but we finally got a champion. Very happy to, actually be able to cast Brawl Stars. Been looking forward to cast this for a long time and very happy to be a part of it. The community has been great. You've been great as well, holding my hand throughout the entire process of the 6 weeks. I feel sorry for you, having to deal with my dad jokes and everything else. So, Teddy, thank you very much for being with me throughout the entire course of the event. But not only that, thanks to the production who've been holding a hand as well throughout the whole event. But not only that, thanks to you guys at home. Without any of you guys watching, these events would not be made possible. And like Teddy said, make sure you register for season 2 over at brawlstars.gamestars.com or, over in the Nightbot links in the chat. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it plenty of times now, all day and of course all week as well. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next season.